Hello, BB Gang says, this is Calvin, also known as Romer, and this is my reaction to the Irodori Festival, the full main story. Before we start this reaction, though, which is actually rather long, 2 hours is the longest event we've ever seen, I think, for so far for me anyway. There's probably been longer events that I haven't seen. I do want to say a thank you to Pot KCS, which is the name of the channel that uploaded this video, that made it possible for me to watch this. Other people have uploaded them too, but this is the one that I landed on and chose. I also want to say thank you to a patron by the name of Deathtrap, who actually has made a spreadsheet for me unprompted, unasked, just out of the kindness of their own heart, that has all the events that I can do in the game, but also has the requirements for those events, like what I should have beaten to get those events. Not only that, but like where they are in the story, where I shouldn't watch them, where I should watch them without any spoilers. And honestly, it's like so helpful, because you know how Google and Twitter and all those websites work. Whenever you like type in something into Google for one time, say if I type in like, event for Genshin Impact, they're going to show like a massive amount of different events, some characters I haven't seen yet, all this stuff. So I actually am very grateful for this. We're going to watch this and see how it goes. I'm actually pretty excited to see what this is.
Hi, Catherine. We heard that you have a new commission for us.
That's correct.
So we're at Catherine's.
There's a requester who is
how most events start.
A designated commission for the two of you.
A designated commission? Sounds like it must be pretty
A designated
important.
commission?
What kind of task is it exactly?
There's no need to worry. This commission is not dangerous by any means. Perhaps you have heard that Inazuma
Man, Inazuma's
is
so pretty.
holding a major festival, the magnificent Irodori Festival.
Yay! A festival! Oh, come to think of it, we haven't attended a festival in Inazuma for a while.
It has been a bit. This dude's always watching us
The
from behind, by the
Yashiro
way, this
Commission
guy.
and Lady Yae are responsible for all the festival preparations. The one who has requested your help is none other than Lady Yae
Oh,
herself.
always. Anything Mika wants, she gets.
You know Miko. She always has some unusual ideas in her head. You can bet a festival planned by her is gonna be one to remember.
Heck yeah.
We'd better go to Grand Narukami Shrine and see what she needs us to do.
Lady Yae is currently at Yae Publishing House in Hanamizaka, so there is no need to go all the way to the shrine. In fact, she has instructed me to have you directly meet
Of course,
with her
Miko has instructions.
Oh, well, that's convenient enough. Let's go then.
Honestly, like, again, I love Miko. I love interacting with Miko, so it's never a problem to be interacting with Miko. There we go. The Strange Tale of Seiko's Tipsy Tincture?
Aratani and Kuroda, how are things coming along?
All the books and commission prints for Yae Publishing House.
People have so much respect for Yae, as you can see here.
Afternoon, Lady Yae.
Very good. And Murata?
We have already received word from Apekusu and Sailing Breeze that the materials are all in place for.
And she's so
Shogun
smart. She's,
Almighty
yeah, everything in
Reborn
place
is
when she
riding
needs
with
to have
unlimited
everything in
power,
place.
and
So smart.
Pretty please Kitsune Guji.
Well done. And what about you, Onodera?
What about you, Onodera? Answer! The lady is speaking to you! Oh god, I would...
Onodera?
I'd be dead.
Yes, Lady Yae.
Stop
Everything's
clapping.
ready for the new issue release party.
You are the one who organized the plans for this release party. In other words, you are the team's fearless leader now. So please, show some confidence.
That's good advice.
Besides, there's no need to be nervous. This project is destined for success.
It can be quite scary for someone saying, like, hey, you're the leader now, but...
I shall specially grant you leave for the next couple
Show
of days.
some confidence is
Onodera.
good.
Please take the opportunity to have a good rest. After all, you will be very busy on the day of the release party.
Yes, Lady Yae. Thank you very much.
Stop clapping.
All right then. Is everyone clear about their assignments? Good. We're running out of time, so let's get moving. Chop chop.
Chop chop. Yeah, she just commands respect. She really does. And, like, honestly, she's actually not a bad person, especially, like, when she has to motivate people,
Ah,
you know?
Hello, little ones. I take it you have received my commission,
Some organizer you are! It's nearly time for the festival and you're still over here ramping things up.
Let me
for
just
your
check something really
next
quick,
level
because it might just be, like, the way I'm, like, watching it. But I'm assuming this is not 60 FPS.
business. Shouldn't you be getting
Yeah, I was just checking really quickly if it was in 60 FPS, because, like, usually all Genshin is in 60 FPS. Obviously, like, the videos that were recorded are not in 60 FPS, which is fine. I'm not trying to be, like, nitpicky. I was just checking, just in case someone goes, like, because, you know, not that people care. Can I say this as well? Like, people don't generally care if it's, like, when they're watching a YouTube video, because most people watch YouTube either on their phones or the laptop. They just want, like, the video itself, you know?
back
But
to
I was
the
just checking,
Grand
like,
Narukami
if
Shrine?
I got it
You
wrong.
were thinking of dumping expectations on us, were you? If so,
look at these guys. Someone said I share a same brain cell with Paimon, and I actually agree.
My, such harsh words. It hurts to hear that kind of talk from you two. But as you can clearly see, I'm here working like a dog for
Like
the
a
festival.
dog.
Yet you say
She
I'm
working
not
like a
doing my
dog.
job. Let me ask you, little ones. Whoever said that the festival must involve the Grand Narukami Shrine?
huh? But isn't that a given? This is Inazuma after all.
Yes, that is true. But now that the Sokoku decree has been lifted, Inazuma is no longer the
Yep.
same nation that
I
once
love hearing
resisted
about this. I love
change
seeing the
tooth and
changes.
nail. Therefore, rather than sticking to the same old traditional festival, the Yashiro Commission and I have decided to shake things up a little. This time, we'll be holding an international cultural festival, distinctly Inazuman, but with a unique twist.
I love that. I actually really like that.
I suppose I should start by telling you the origins of the Irodori festival. Legend has it that there were 5 poets in ancient Inazuma who were supremely gifted in singing and writing poetry. They are known as the Five Kasen. Every year,
Five
one
Kasen.
of the 5 would present a collection of the group's poems to the shogun for review, which would then spark culture discussions regarding those works. Thanks to them, Inazuma's culture blossomed and gained great influence at that time. As time passed, people began creating various tales based on the Five Kasen. The Irodori festival was also developed as a result to show appreciation
It seems like a
for
very
their works,
natural thing to do,
which so
especially like for the
greatly
history of,
enriched our
your
lives.
own
Sounds like a festival that's
hometown.
really rooted in culture.
or island.
Indeed. To describe it in the words of the ancients, it'd be refined elegance. Unfortunately, with the flow of time, people have gradually forgotten about the Five Kasen and the festival, which is precisely why I've decided to revive the Irodori festival by holding a cultural convention featuring light novels.
Oh. Okay, I like it.
Wait a minute.
I think it's
Light novels?
I think it's a
Please
nice
stop
idea.
looking at me with those baffled expressions. In ancient times, poetry was
Yeah,
all
get
the
people interested
rage.
in the modern
But
times. Yeah.
nowadays, the entertainment format of choice
That makes perfect
is light
sense.
novels. The important thing is not the format, but the creative work itself. It is impossible to come up with anything fresh if you're stuck using some rigid format of the past. Speaking of which, don't you think that the concept of focusing on the now
She's not wrong.
perfectly suits the
She's
current
not
Inazuma?
wrong. As usual.
And besides, it's a great opportunity to reintroduce Inazuma to Altavat through light novels.
The thing is, like,
As they say, it's 2 birds with 1 stone.
I totally get where the answer where like, oh, this sounds like a thinly veiled self-justifications it comes from, but like for me as well at the same time, it's like it makes perfect sense. Like if you want to get like a younger generation or like new people into the stories of old, you tell them through cartoons. That's like what we did in Irish culture, you know what I mean? Like the Book of Kel, The Secret of Kells, and movies like that, where it's like you get the younger people into stuff through a medium they understand. It just makes sense.
Whoa, that was close. Paimon was nearly carried away by Miko's persuasive
I already have it.
tongue.
She can carry me with her tongue.
Come on,
Wait,
Miko.
no,
You
she can.
can't fool us. We know you by now. This is all definitely stemming from your own
100%.
personal interest.
100%.
I can't deny that my hobbies had no part to play in this. However, regardless of whether it's light novels or a festival,
I
catching
feel like
people's
it is, like-
attention with a fresh concept is the
Like one
essence
thing can be the
here.
same as the other. It doesn't have to like
Well, what do you
disregard the other
say?
part.
Aren't you two even a little curious about what interesting things you might see at the festival?
Maybe a little.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Paimon's super curious now.
Come, let's pay a visit to the venue in Rito together. I promise that it will give you a whole new perspective on the festival.
I think it's like okay.
There we'll meet a
She's 100% doing this for her own self-interest. She runs a publishing house for light novels, but that doesn't change the fact that it still makes sense. You know what I mean? It can be one thing and it can be the other as well. You know, I can be selling chocolate because I know people will love chocolate, at the same time trying to be making money off the selling of chocolate. You know what I mean? It works
Who will
out.
tell you more about your tasks.
This will help her business and also will
During
help
the
people get into
Irodori
the festival.
The area around around the Outlander Affairs Agency will become the main exhibition space for light novels. Once things are in full swing, not only will there be lots of official and fan-created work on display, there'll also be exclusive giveaways, prizes, and new release parties. This small plaza in front of the International Trade Association will be called
Great
the
place for a
Five
festival.
Kasen Plaza during the festival, and nearby shops will be selling special light novel merchandise.
Oh, she's gonna make a killing.
You certainly won't want
She's
to
gonna
miss
make a
out.
killing.
Wow. How should Paimon put this? It's definitely not your typical festival, but it sure looks like it'll be quite the party.
Heck yeah.
Huh. Miko, what are these blank boards in the center of the plaza?
Yes, those are...
Ah, Lady I did mention that there
Ayato,
would be
right
some
away.
reliable helpers coming to assist with
Okay.
the festivities. It appears she meant you two. At last we meet again, Traveler and Paimon. Tell me, how are you faring recently?
Thank God I just did the Ayato mission.
It's Ayato! Wow, so even a busy guy like yourself is here to attend the Irodori Festival.
Preparing festivals falls under the Yashiro Commission's scope of responsibilities. Seeing as Lady Yae has poured her heart and soul into the preparations, I'm obliged to be equally dedicated.
Come now, Ayato. We're not strangers here. There's no need to sound so formal. We were just about
Ayato
to
and
discuss
Yaimiko is
the
a very
boards
interesting
over here. They're
meetup,
related to our little helper's tasks.
as they're
so
both
I'll
like
let you
very
give them a
good at like the
detailed
political
rundown.
aspect of the world.
Certainly. I
Just in
assume
different
you two
ways.
already know that the Irodori Festival originated from the Five Kasen. These 5 boards are here for painting their portraits. This Irodori Festival is not only the first major festival to be held in Inazuma since the lifting of the Sakoku Decree, it is also an event deeply rooted in culture and the arts.
Heck yeah.
Therefore, the Yashiro Commission has personally invited several cultural celebrities from other nations. For example, the artist we have invited to paint these portraits hails from the distant land of Mondstadt. The Yashiro Commission will arrange accommodations and food in Inazuma for each of the distinguished guests. However, we fear that staying in a foreign land may feel a little uncomfortable, which is precisely why it would be ideal to have someone familiar with both Inazuma and other nations of Teyvat to serve as a guide for our
That's
guests.
such a good idea.
I knew you would catch on. It is our hope that you would be able to guide the guests from the harbor to their residence at the International Trade Association, while providing any necessary assistance along the way. It includes the details of the ships on which the guests will be arriving.
Wait,
All you simply have to do
they better be
is go to
guests
the
that we
docks at the
know. That'd be
indicated
so
times.
cool. Like, okay. 2 days before the festival, ships and guests, larger passenger ships, bards, and from Mondstadt. What? A guest painter, calcs and his dependent. Second day of the festival, ships and guests, large passenger ship, calligraphers, painters from Liyue, theater mechanics, players, and guest writer. Wait, no, a guest writer? Xingqiu. Third day of the festival, ship and guest, large cargo, step over 1 person only on the 3rd day. Interesting. The day following the release event, ship guests, small passengers, 2 persons, estimated arrival 10 a.m. Okay, cool. Very cool. Maybe we won't get to see people we know, but
It's
I know
settled
the events
then.
seem to be like that.
My, look at the time. I have to meet with my editors, so I must be going now. During the festival, most of the Yae Publishing House's editors will be staying near the Outlander Affairs Agency. If you run into any problems, you may find them there.
This festival requires the full cooperation of the Tri-Commission, and there are still many minor details which require my attention, so I must excuse myself for now. I'll leave the guests in your hands.
Very cool. I cannot wait to see.
All the details we need about the ships are on the timetable that Ayato gave us.
I would have
Let's
loved
take
to
a
have done
closer
this.
look and be sure to pick up the passengers according to the times written on it.
I understand what the events are, like why they do the
According
events.
to the arrival schedule, there will be a ship arriving from Mondstadt today.
It forces people to log in when they want you to log in. You know what I mean? It's smart. Oh, look at the banners.
The boat should be arriving
It's just
soon,
really
so let's
smart
head down to the
designed. Oh,
docks.
yeah, Miko banner for your game. It makes people log in when because you make an event a specific time limit. If they want to do that event, they have to log in today, or tomorrow, or the next day. They can't just go, I'll wait for a year from now. Even though I would love to see these events. Okay, it's just Mondstadt peoples.
Hello, you must be here to take part in the Irodori Festival. We're
This
the
is really
festival
cool.
guides,
This is
and
really
we'll
neat.
show you around.
Yes, that's right. We are bards from Mondstadt. Word has it that Inazuma has undergone many changes.
Paimon not
of
looking them
late.
up and down.
We hope to
Look
find
at what
fresh
you Paimon.
inspiration here.
These guests are all bards, aren't they? Well,
Yeah, where's Venti? Where's Venti?
Huh. Strange. He's pretty famous in Mondstadt. Do you think
Yeah, he
didn't
probably would.
receive
There's
an
still a chance he
invitation?
wouldn't show up.
Huh? Why's that? Oh, Paimon sees what you're getting at. Even though Venti no longer rules over Mondstadt, he's still an Archon.
But also, he's like
If he came
very
rushing to
free
Inazuma at the
and.
first mention of a festival, not only would it seem a little childish, it would also sort of be
The reason I'm so excited is like this is about to become very, very funny. One of the funniest characters in the history of Genshin. Here we go.
Mr. Honorary Knight, Paimon!
Oh my god. I'm so excited because this is literally just gonna. This is gonna become so funny. This is gonna be the funniest thing ever.
Were you also invited
Comedian.
to the Irodori Festival?
No, she wasn't.
No,
Yeah,
Albedo was the
Albedo!
one who received the
This is so
invitation.
good.
But because everyone in the Knights of Favonius has been really busy these days, Albedo arranged
Brother
for
and
someone
sister here.
to issue me a dependent pass.
Greetings, traveler in Paimon. After hearing that
This is so
Inazuma was
cool.
making preparations for the Irodori festival, I predicted that I might run into you here.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Paimon knew it! Albedo's the one they've invited to paint the Five Kasen.
Very cool.
It seems that you already know why I'm here. Just so you're
Calx.
aware, I'll be using my pen name in Inazuma.
Calx. I might
Calx.
change my name on Twitter to that.
By
That
the
makes
way,
sense.
Do you know where the International Trade Association is? I'll be meeting with the editorial director of the Yae Publishing House there.
Yeah, the International Trade Association is where you'll be staying in Inazuma. We'll be heading there too.
Great. Let's get going then.
Wow, it's so beautiful here!
Aw, Klee.
So many things I've never seen before.
Klee.
Slow down, Klee. Please be careful not to bump into others.
So what they might just do is it might just be a very sweet Klee instead of funny
Telling
Klee,
so
but
many
hey.
stories about Inazuma during the
We'll take
trip
it.
was probably not the best idea. As a result, she
It's
could
so
hardly
like I'm
sleep all the
so
way here.
sorry for a second. I'm so happy to be here with our boy with Albedo again. Like I feel so. This is making me feel so overjoyed.
It appears she's even more excited now that
I
we've
agree with both
arrived.
these answers.
Strange. It seems that the editorial director, Mr. Hiroyama, isn't here yet. I'm certain he said that he'd be sure to arrive before me. This might be a problem. Well, Mr. Hiroyama was supposed to meet with me and give me some reference materials about the Five Kasen today. That way, I could better visualize the content for my paintings.
You mean you had no idea what you'd be painting before you arrived in Inazuma?
I only know of the Five Kasen by name.
Good Klee just running around in the
Because
background.
of the sheer age of the tale, very little has been passed down to this day. So Mr. Hiroyama decided to help me collect some more information. I'm the type of painter who can complete a painting quickly as long as I'm inspired.
Cool.
So I agreed on only receiving the details today.
So when do the paintings have to be done by?
According to the festival plans, the portraits will be revealed one at a time throughout the various stages of the Irodori festival. The first one, depicting Suiko, will need to be done before the festival's official opening ceremony, which is the day after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow? Then you're already running out of time!
Paimon's very concerned.
There's no need to panic.
Look at Klee.
When I was working on light novel illustrations, because the manuscripts are shipped by boat, things were always tight and finished at the last minute. Just last month, to ensure the latest book of A Legend of Sword would be finished for the Irodori festival,
We have that book, I
I
think.
had to complete the final chapter's illustrations the same day I received the manuscript. I heard that my illustrations were sent to print as soon as they arrived in Inazuma. I still don't know how well they turned out.
Paimon isn't sure if she should feel sympathetic for your working conditions or compliment you on your artistic genius.
Everyone watching
Of course,
most
I
animes
would
knowing
still prefer
that like
to
they work
receive
so
any
hard to make
possible
the
reference
shows, but then it's
materials
also
in
like,
advance, so that I
you
can
know,
be
it's like, you know,
better
you ever get that with anything like when even like a video game company like goes through crunch and you're like, man, I don't know if I should be complimenting this game on like, or should I be like, you know, saying, hey, the work conditions are a bit crazy here, you know? It's like watching Mappa, isn't it? Mappa for Jujutsu Kaisen, where it's like, oh my god, this is incredible. Like, and then you're like, yeah, but go home for Christmas, please.
Paired.
Oh, right! The editors of the Yai Publishing House will all be around the Outlander Affairs Agency.
Sorry, I just want to clarify. I don't think it's funny that like anyone has bad working conditions, by the way. I'm just trying to describe how I'm feeling here. And you know, I get kind of like giddy. I don't mean to make it like an insensitive thing about, you know, because like everyone deserves not only a fair living wage, but also if you're creating art that I enjoy, I want you to have a good, well-respected time.
Days. Who knows? Maybe Mr. Hirayama's over there too.
Please, so excited in the background.
We'll take you over there to see if we can find him, Albedo.
All right, it's worth a try. Klee, you haven't slept for a while now.
Oh, she nods her
Please stay
head.
at our residence in the International Trade Association and get some rest. We will be back soon.
Okie dokie. Don't worry.
Oh, God.
Albedo. I'll be on
That's
my
never
best
assuring,
behavior.
Klee. That's never assures me of anything.
This can't be happening. The moment we need to contact Onodera is when he's on special leave. Kuroda and I will go back to Inazuma City for an emergency printing run. The demand for this book is so high, though. Even with the emergency prints, it still might not be enough.
Despite everything, we're still lucky that we found out today. If this had happened a few days later, then we'd really be in boiling water.
Right.
Hey, do you think that suspicious guy they found in the warehouse has anything to do with this?
Well, the editorial director is on his way over there to investigate the situation as we speak.
Sorry to interrupt, but what's going on here?
Oh, hey, Traveler. Don't worry. It's nothing, just an internal issue. That's all. How can I help you?
I'm so happy right now watching
I'm
this.
looking for the editorial director,
I'm so happy.
Mr. Hirayama. Does anyone know where he is now?
Mr. Hirayama is currently at the warehouse down by the harbor.
Oh, hold on a second, Murata. Excuse me, but you must be Calx.
That's me?
The one who was invited to paint the Five Kasen for the festival?
Yes, that's me.
My name is
Albedo's so
Kuroda.
pretty.
You must be inquiring about information regarding the Five Kasen. I do apologize, but please make yourself comfortable at the International Trade Association, and I will let Mr. Hirayama know to send you the materials right away.
Cool.
Oh, no need. You guys look super busy, so we can go find him ourselves.
Some issue?
About that.
Excuse me, but is there something wrong with the latest volume of A Legend of Sword?
Huh? How did you know?
Well, since you were all aware that Mr. Hirayama needed to send me some supporting materials, that means the editorial director didn't forget about it. Instead, something urgent must have cropped up.
Right.
To add to that, despite being aware that I am Calx, you were still unwilling to let me go to Mr. Hirayama directly. After considering these factors, the only reason you would try to stall me is if something happened to A Legend of Sword, which I did the illustrations for.
There you go.
Well, I'm very sorry. The situation is just as you said, Calx. I suppose it doesn't hurt to tell you now. Earlier today, someone spotted a suspicious outlander sneaking around inside the Irodori Festival warehouse down by the docks. So they promptly alerted the Tenryou Commission. The Tenryou Commission was concerned about potential cargo theft, so they contacted everyone who was renting space in the warehouse. It was then that we realized that the latest copies of A Legend of Sword had suddenly gone missing.
What? The books are missing?
Shh, not so loud.
Stop clapping, but still
Not
like
only
stolen
is this
then.
book an eagerly anticipated release in the last phase of the Irodori Festival, but the author, Xingqiu, will be personally attending the release party as well.
Because of the dire situation, Mr. Hirayama immediately hurried to the warehouse to determine whether the theft was related to that suspicious outlander.
I see. It would be a great misfortune if A Legend of Sword would not be released on schedule.
Heck yeah.
And quite a disappointment for Xingqiu as well. If Mr. Hirayama has gone to the warehouse at the docks, then I'll go down to see if I can be of any help.
So the
This is
author
kind of
of A
worrying, isn't
Legend
it?
of Sword is Xingqiu.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Hey!
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
Oh.
It's
Do
been
you
so
know?
long.
Xingqiu would definitely be upset if he
So we're gonna get to see
discovered
Xingqiu?
books are missing. Let's accompany Albedo go to the warehouse.
Yes,
too.
awesome. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna get to Xingqiu for sure. Sarah! Venti! He's here! What a interaction!
It's you! Why are you here?
I'm here on behalf of the Tenryou Commission, of course.
I thought she was
Is
talking
that
to Venti.
surprising?
No, Sarah, Paimon wasn't talking
Yeah,
about
she's talking about her
you.
mortal enemy.
So, Tone Deaf Bard. The suspicious outlander. in
Oh,
the
come on.
warehouse
We're not
wouldn't
accusing
happen
poor
to be
Venti.
You, would it?
Considering the evidence, it appears that the suspicious outlander
Such great voice acting. Erica's so good.
indeed me.
As I have told you, you are a suspect.
This is an
Before your
Archon.
allegations
Sarah!
of theft and illegal entry as a stowaway are cleared, you are to remain silent. Don't
Oh, so it's
make
not
me
even the
say
right
it
to remain
again.
silent. It's
Traveler,
you are
Paimon,
forced.
Do you know this self-proclaimed bard from Mondstadt?
Both these answers are so cruel.
Listen, Sarah. Knowing
Yeah.
him, it's safe to say that he wasn't.
I mean,
behind
one of our big missions with him was stealing
But
something.
What's this about being a stowaway?
His design is fantastic, by the way. It's still so good. It's one of the earliest designs you see in the game, and like it's so cool. It just sets the tone of like each character is gonna have so much personality in their outfits.
Although he claims to be a special guest for the Irodori festival, he's failed to present his invitation letter. Therefore, we can only suspect that he might have entered the country illegally.
Dude, you can't stop the wind
Just a
from
moment
blowing.
ago, we caught him in a dandelion wine crate near the sailing
Oh, God.
breeze. If it would help shed any light on the
drinking?
situation, then
He
please,
drinking?
be my guest.
Oh, Venti! You didn't really come here illegally.
He's the wind.
did
He is
you?
literally the wind.
Ouch, your words wound
They
me.
wound him.
We've been apart for so long, and the moment we meet again, all I'm greeted with is
I
glowing
miss
questions
this. I
and
miss this
suspicious
so
glares. You arrived in Inazuma via similar means.
Yes,
or
we
so
did.
I
We
heard.
did.
You of all people should be more understanding, don't you think?
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Similar means?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Zara?
I merely jest. Fear
What are you
not,
gonna do to us?
for the person who sent me the invitation is none other than Kamisato Ayato of Yashiro
There you go.
Commission. It's
We're best friends with
unlikely that
Ayato. Best
someone
friends with
acquainted with the likes of him would ever be here illegally,
Yaimiko.
Right?
Best friends with the Archon.
Ship as the other bards.
Well, once I received
love
the
Erica's so
invitation letter,
good.
I couldn't help but want to come to Inazuma a little early. It was then that I happened upon a cargo ship bound for Inazuma transporting dandelion wine. So, naturally, I decided to set sail with
Good. Good idea.
Once aboard, I found the captain to be a kindred spirit, and I was treated to an abundance of fine liquor along the way. I must have fallen asleep in the cargo crate while carefully comparing the tastes of dandelion
Awesome.
wine
Awesome.
and Inazuman sake. And when I woke up, I found myself in this warehouse with a Tenryou Commission general glaring at me from atop the crate.
Coming from Venti, this
It is very
story
believable.
quite believable.
Shameless is better.
But it still feels a bit.
He does not have any
Excuse me, I'm
shame.
the owner of the stolen goods
And that's
from
why
the
we
IA
love him.
publishing house, and there are some questions I would like to ask you. Based on what you just said, it seems you've been in the warehouse for some time now. If that's the case, did you
Just
happen
he
to
was
hear
probably
anything
blackout
unusual?
drunk.
Actually, I did hear some faint footsteps around me a couple of times, but I didn't consider the sound anything out of the ordinary.
Hmm? But if you clearly heard something, why didn't you feel it was unusual?
Oh, I seem to understand now.
What did you
I'll be smarter than all of us.
When it comes to burglars, they are generally associated with prying or rummaging through things. What Venti means is that he did not hear anything unusual like that. As for the sound of footsteps, because this is a warehouse where many goods are coming in and out each day, it is quite normal for people to be walking around.
I see. But if that's the case, then we're back to square one regarding the stolen books.
No, not quite. From the facts that have been presented to us, we can draw at least 3 conclusions now. First, whoever took the novels is not a spur-of-the-moment burglar. They had their sights on the books from the very beginning. Second, the culprit was very familiar with the warehouse, and might even have a key. And third, I knew you'd catch on, Traveler. One person couldn't possibly transport so many heavy books in such a short window of time. It must have been a team effort.
There you go.
It goes without saying that Venti clearly does not match up with our culprits.
Yes, I agree with your reasoning. Mr. Hirayama, the Tenryo Commission will continue by investigating the warehouse staff. If you come across any further clues, please notify us immediately.
I can't believe she was
Yes,
about to arrest
understood.
an Archon.
I'll leave it to you then.
You have the right to remain silent.
I suppose I'm free.
Yeah,
as
you
a
go on.
bird
You do
then.
what you want.
Not so fast. Even though we've cleared the theft allegations, we still haven't ascertained whether your arrival
Oh, come
in
on.
Inazuma
He's the
was legal
wind.
or not.
Aw, 'tis a shame.
I love him.
I thought surely after my honest account you might let
The
me
wink.
off
The
hook.
wink to us. Dude, don't get us in trouble.
It's quite the meticulous one.
Please don't get us in trouble.
Where's your invitation letter, Venti?
Actually, who's gonna get me in
Yes,
trouble?
The invitation letter. I'm truly sorry. I can't seem to remember where I may have put it.
Oh, no.
How could you lose something so important?
He's a drunk.
Don't be mistaken. I was well aware of how important it was. But I didn't bring any luggage with me, and the letter was
Oh
too
my
big
god,
to fit
that's
in my
so,
pocket.
like...
So I kept it
That's
in
so
my hand
venti.
the whole trip. Strange. Though I had a little too much to drink, I know that I kept it in a secure place. I even recall being most pleased at coming up with a good idea at the time.
If you were holding the invitation in your hand the whole time, then why did you put it down?
Well, to properly compare the taste of Mondstadt wine and Inazuman sake, I had to hold a glass in each hand. I couldn't both hold the invitation and a glass at the same time. But surely I wouldn't
Honestly,
put it in just
like,
any random
logic,
place.
it makes sense.
It could easily
How
be
is he supposed to hold two
misplaced.
glasses and a letter?
In which case, I believe there's only one place it could be. Have you figured it out, traveler?
Huh? You're way ahead of Paimon. Do you two already know
I'm in
where
love with
the
this already.
invitation letter is?
In his hat?
Ah, yes.
That, oh my god.
I remember now. I knew you'd help me find it.
I love that, his personality is so, okay, with the breeze of, whatever. It's like a breezy personality. And that's what I freaking adore about Venti. Venti's personality is the breeze. It is the wind. It is, energy itself, almost. You know what I mean? It's so nice. It's so nice to see stuff like this. Because, it just proves that, Genshin are so good. The writers of Genshin are so good at creating characters and then actually having their personality shine through the screen.
This is indeed an invitation letter issued by the Yashiro Commission.
And Sarah's just doing
Now
her
that
freaking
we've
job, man.
confirmed
You can't
this
blame
guest's
Sarah,
identity,
you know?
I have no further
Sarah just doing her
questions.
job.
However, starting tonight, I would advise you to stay at the International Trade Association.
You can't stop the wind from
Now, if
blowing.
you'll excuse me, I'll be leaving now.
This is so awesome to have all these characters back.
There goes Sara. All right, let's go talk to Mr. Hirayama about Albedo's reference materials.
Mr. Hirayama, I'm Calx.
Same.
We had originally arranged to meet today.
Ah, yes, so you are Calx. I'm very sorry that you've arrived in Inazuma only to find such a mess. These are the materials regarding the Five Kasen. All the information that we could find is compiled here.
Okay. Sorry, I'll read this now. So it
We
says...
could find is compiled here.
So it says, about the Five Kasen, long ago there were 5 legendary poets in Inazuma. Supremely gifted in music and writing, they were honored as the Five Kasen, meaning 5 fairies of singing poetry. It is said that the shogun loved their works profoundly, and that every year one of them would go to Ten Shukaku and present their poetry collection for the shogun's perusal. The 5 Kasen, known as Suiko, Ayo no Ikina, Akahito, Shimizomi, and Koronushi, respectively, but their real names were lost in history. According to a widely accepted theory, Tales of the Five Kasen has once been repeatedly adapted and performed on stage with the 5 characters, each dressed a distinct color: green, blue, red, white, and black. So Power Rangers? Over time, theatergoers started. Where are we now? Over time, theatergoers started referring to them by these colors, hence the names you will see today. Still, there exist other theories. For instance, some believe the Suiko was named after his dwelling, a thatched cottage called Suiko Hut, and some say that the Aka in Akahito was derived from the poet's habit of marking his words with a scarlet and red seal. Okay, very fast.
Is compiled
It's so
here.
fast. According to existing, so Kazen story features all in regions. Once unfortunate, it's despite that their popularity is abundant at the time, not much details survived to today. Most were probably lost during the Great Calamity 500 years ago. According to existing literature, during the Golden Age, when many stories were being created, they usually followed the same set of rules: 4 poems in succession, each telling a fragment of the story from the Kazen's point of view, with the 4 together completing the whole tale. What was curious was that no single chapter seemed to be narrated from the Kuronushinu's perspective. Okay, it's very hard to read this, so I'll just read what we can. Akihito, a talented swordsman who most likely came from a martial law family. Some say his name was derived from the habit of marking his words with a scarlet red seal. Sumizome, she was once a shrine maiden skilled in floral arts and dancing. Later, she became a shogun's personal attendant. Some say she resigned from a position after she became a famous and devoted artistic creation. Others say she kept serving the shogun into her old age. Kuronishi, a little is known about him, nor does anyone know who he really is. Maybe he explains the more varied versions of identity and personality from the story as compared to the other 4 Kasen.
Let's see here. Yes, it's just as I had suspected. Monikers such as Suiko and Aoi no Okina aren't the real names of the 5 Kasen. Though there were once many stories regarding each of the 5 Kasen, the validity of their contents can no longer be verified in present times. Alas, what a shame.
Alas!
But, at the very least, we know that most of the stories were written according to a similar style, so there is still something we may glean from this.
So, is the info useful for your paintings, Albedo?
To some extent, yes. However, I must admit that it is still lacking and, fails to fulfill the most crucial element. Inspiration.
I am sorry that this information is not as exhaustive as you had hoped. However, it is not possible to gather anything more at the moment. Though, Lady Yae did say that there are many variations of the story about the 5 Kasen, and everyone has a different story in their heart. So all you need to do is follow through with what's in your own heart, and create something that you yourself find interesting.
That does sound like something Miko would say.
Thank you, Mr. Hirayama. No need to worry. I'll find inspiration for the portrait.
So such a soft voice as well.
Great.
ASMR over
I'll
here.
leave it to you then, Calx. Oh, and there's one more thing I need to ask of everyone. Tomorrow morning, Mr. Genyu, the author
he's
of
coming!
The Legend of Sword, will be arriving in Inazuma by boat.
He's coming!
If you see him, please do not mention the stolen novels for the time being. Whether the stolen books are eventually recovered or not, the Yae Publishing House will do its best to ensure that the novel's release is a success. You have my gratitude.
That's fine.
I'll be going.
I honestly would love to see Xingqiu. Look at Venti.
There's nothing more we can do here.
I'd honestly love to see.
Huh? Betty? What are you doing over there? You don't want us to leave you behind, do you?
Traveler, Albedo, would you mind
I
coming
would love
over
to
here
see
for a
Xingqiu
moment?
interact with
There's
Yaibiko is what I was going to say.
something peculiar that I think you should see.
It would make my day.
What is it, Venti? A piece of paper?
A piece of paper?
Indeed. When I awakened to find myself in the warehouse this morning, I discovered this paper in the cargo crate where I was sleeping. I didn't think much of it then. I thought it was merely a scrap piece of paper that had fallen into the cargo. After a quick glance, I stuffed it into a place nearby. But on second thought, I think it's worth having you take a look at what's written on it.
Oh, for real? The 5 Kazen splendors Suikyo. Mind-dwelling was far from the wider world, but from my fame, my peace was disturbed. In blue clad, I went before the Tenshukaku to present our work, but Aoi's work was missing a page. I knelt and begged for the divine wrath to be stilled, and I told what I knew of how it was lost. The previous night I had been drunk, and then a person's shadow had passed over me. Some treacherous scoundrel must have stolen the poem, leading to my great loss of face.
Let me see. Suiko chapter. Wait a minute. Isn't Suiko
Indeed,
the name
indeed.
of one of the 5 Kasen?
The story told in this poem roughly boils down to Suiko getting tipsy and letting some poems that were meant for the shogun get stolen. Ah, this story sounds familiar to my ear. Where have I heard it?
Seriously? It's literally the same story you just experienced yesterday.
Oh, indeed it
I
is.
freaking love him.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yes, I concur. The person who left this paper could quite possibly be the criminal, or even a witness to the theft. But why leave the paper here in such a fashion? And if the one who left it here was a witness, why didn't they attempt to stop the burglary?
Alright, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Meeting together in Inazuma like this is a most rare occasion. Since we've been busy from the start of the day, let us find an inn with good drink to keep our thirst at bay.
Hey! You just sobered up and
Of course he is, it's Venti!
about more drinks? And let's not forget that Albedo still has a portrait to complete. We don't have time to be slacking
It's
off.
Venti.
No, it's fine. Let's all go for a drink together. It'll be my treat.
Wait a minute. What about your portrait?
As I mentioned before, I'm the kind of artist who can work quickly once I'm inspired.
Awesome.
And now, it seems I've found my source of inspiration. If I use a model as reference for the piece, we must pay him back with the appropriate recompense.
In that case, we'll need to order more dishes.
Yeah, really cool. These interactions just make me feel warm. They make me feel fuzzy. They make me feel happy. I cannot believe that they you can. Oh,
the poet
here we go.
Suiko
I
made
would
his
love
way
these
to
events to be available for everyone.
and presented the Kasen's work for the
Oh my
shogun's
God, look.
perusal. But a page from the works of Aoi no Okina had been torn out, and Suiko was questioned regarding the matter.
That's so cool.
Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night
Of course.
before, and vaguely recalled a mysterious
Wait, look at this
figure
design.
approaching while he was intoxicated.
Wait, taking off the tights to drink is hilarious to me. I don't know why it's so funny to me. It's so sweet though.
Wow, you really came through, Albedo. You were able to complete
It's a beautiful
the first
portrait.
before
It's
the
gorgeous.
opening ceremony.
Yes, it really is a sight to behold. Not only does it harken to the traditional style of Inazuma, but it also makes use of modern aesthetics. My figure is particularly
Yes,
striking.
that's the
Even
word I
though I'm
use, Venti.
sound
Striking.
asleep in the
Like
portrait,
it's very
I
striking.
still appear as glorious
Yep.
as always.
Hey, don't get too full of yourself, Tone Deaf Bard. You were just a model. The person in the artwork
It doesn't matter.
isn't
Venti looks
actually
good in the
you.
picture.
Well, Albedo, who will be
I
your
love the
next
rivalry.
The next one will be Aoi no Okina of the Five Kasen.
Albedo, might I
Such a
suggest
beautiful artwork.
waiting a little before starting on the next one? Who knows? You might soon discover another story.
Another story?
I believe he's referring to the possibility of finding another paper with tales of the Five Kasen.
That'd be really cool.
According to the reference materials I was given, we've only found the first of a total of 4 chapters.
So wait,
Do you think the mysterious person who left the first paper will strike again?
It certainly is.
it's
a
gonna be
possibility.
colors relating to characters, I'm
Also,
guessing.
There are some points regarding the stories of the Five Kasen that have left me rather curious. For example, the reference materials make mention of 5 legendary figures, yet all the popular stories only consist of 4 parts.
Right.
It appears that throughout all the stories, there is never a chapter dedicated to Kuronushi.
Yes, I'm also curious about these stories myself. But who knows? They may merely be akin to the old saying in Mondstadt. Seeds of stories brought by the wind and cultivated by time. So for now, we need but just wait patiently.
Okay. So that's my guess. It's gonna be characters throughout the game that are like, I love this painting, by the way. It's amazing. The actual painting of Venti, it's so cute. Yeah, look at it. It's theater mechanics, Clash and Lone Blade, the floral courtyard. So I'm guessing it's gonna be 5 characters maybe we already know who are gonna be painted, and I cannot wait to see this, if this is the case. Who's next? Oh, Xingqiu?
Hi there. You must be visiting.
Oh, we
from
ran
Hues
towards the
to
leeway, guys.
participate in the Irodori festival.
Favoritism,
We'll be
maybe?
your guides, and we'll take you onto the island. Huh? Is it Paimon or
Ve-
have we met someone
yes.
before?
Yes, in fact we have. I'm Shu from Feiyun Commerce Guild. Aboard this ship
Definitely
we
met
have
him before.
calligraphers, painters, and even players of Theater Mechanicus. The inventor of Theater Mechanicus previously came to the Feiyun Commerce Guild seeking investment. Although the guild manager was not interested, the master still wanted to support them.
Can I say, just before we go any further, whenever Mondstadt or Liyue is mentioned, I literally get a heartache. Like my heart, like bursts. And like I feel like this warmth in my heart that like is so strong. And it's like, man, like I would kill. Even though I love how we're progressing, I love going to the new worlds, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying when I would kill to be able to... I would give my left arm if it meant that I could... If I could start this game for the first time again and go into Mondstadt for the first time again. I would do anything, man.
Demonstrating the game and letting people try Theater Mechanicus at the Irodori Festival. So the guild manager instructed Master and I to take the opportunity to come to Inazuma and investigate the product's potential.
Oh, speaking of which,
Where is the young master?
Master, he's,
Oh,
Xingqiu. Sound asleep.
No, you can rest for a bit more.
It's the traveler
He's
in
back.
Paimon. I presume you are guests in Inazuma as well? It seems fate has destined our paths to cross once again.
Oh, we aren't actually guests. We're actually guides for the Irodori Festival.
Please, no need to worry.
One of the best outfits in the game.
I was a little too caught up in a novel on the voyage here. When I finally realized what time it was, the first rays of dawn were already peeking over the horizon. Yes, now that we've arrived, the Kanjo Commission will likely wish to inspect our invitation letter. Let's keep it in hand, shall we?
Where is it? Oh no, his letter's gone too?
Huh? That's odd.
Oh no.
There was a piece of paper underneath my bag.
Oh, it's...
Strange. I don't recall seeing it there before.
Ooh, let Paimon have a look.
So, the Five Kasen splendor, Io no Okina, glorious court life was my youth, and my old age a moonlit haze. I had not wished to behave so treacherously, but my very life was threatened, so I sought out my old work and hid in my clothes. I do not understand the reason behind all that has happened, only that the mysterious person's motives must be perverse. This poem was dedicated to Akihito, who to my great sorrow was banished.
There's no doubt about it. It's
Paimon's excited. Paimon loves investigation. Paimon loves a good investigation, you know?
Exactly the same.
The story you found before?
Oh yeah, in the warehouse down by the
Oh yeah, no, yeah, we can't tell about the warehouse.
the poem hunt competition. Yeah, that's it. A friend of ours is on Rito to paint portraits of the Five Kasen. You know, as part of the Irodori Festival. Poetic stories about the Five Kasen have been hidden in various places nearby. If you can find one of the stories and give it to this friend of ours, then there's a chance you'll become the model for the next
That would be
project.
awesome.
Wait a moment. So you mean that...
Hey, it's hard coming up with stuff on the spot like that.
There's a
did a
chance
good
of
job.
meeting Calx in person?
Huh?
Xingqiu.
Yeah, you could say that.
Really? That's
I mean, he does
wonderful.
paint illustrations
I
for
knew that Calx would
novels
attend
he's
the
probably
Irodori
read.
Festival, but convincing my father to let me come to Inazuma was proving to be quite the high hurdle. I had to really rack my mind to come up with the excuse of evaluating the investment value of Theater Mechanicus. Just a few days later, word then came that Calx would be busy painting portraits of the Five Kasen during the festival. It is a most rare opportunity for both Calx and I to be in Inazuma together, but it seemed he would be too busy with the portraits to meet with me. So, I felt quite disappointed for some time now.
Don't worry, Xingqiu.
Xingqiu. I always say Xingqiu, but Xingqiu.
He still has time to see friends. We can take you to see him right
That'd be cool.
now. Also, we heard that Calx did illustrations for your A Legend of Sword novel.
Ah, so you've already heard. To be honest, my works have drawn little interest in Liyue.
Yes.
However, the novels are selling quite well in Inazuma with the help of Calx's beautiful
And Yaimiko
illustrations.
pushes them like
Calx is
crazy.
not only a skilled artist, but he also carries out his craft with great alacrity. I heard that it took him merely a few hours to finish the illustrations.
No, he's a great
for the
artist.
latest
He's a great artist.
But when I looked at the art, the brushwork did not even look the slightest bit rushed. His work is truly exquisite. Oh my, I was beginning to get carried away there. Let us
He reminds you
depart.
of
Quickly
Naoki
now.
Urasawa, who I think is the greatest artist of all time, will just draw things.
Luckily, the idea of meeting Albedo managed to draw Xingqiu's attention and keep the situation under wraps.
Well, yeah,
Let's just hope
just
we
keep
don't let
whispering.
anything slip while meeting Albedo.
But Naoki Urasawa will draw something in like 2 seconds and it looks like someone drew it in like an hour. Like he's so good at that stuff. True Tales of the Violent Garden Act 2, What the Blue Flowers Left Behind. So yeah, it is different colors for different characters.
Traveler, Paimon, how are you?
Oh, they've never met?
And who is
That's
this
interesting. I guess it
accompanying
wouldn't make sense because he's Liyue and he's Mondstadt.
It's a great pleasure to finally meet you. I am the author of
Very
The Legend
interesting.
of Sword, Jen... forgive me. It's rude of me to introduce myself by my pen name when meeting in person. Please, call me Xingqiu.
Xingqiu.
And
His
you
way,
may
he
call
says
me
it way better than
Albedo
I do.
No, that would be
Albedo doesn't
most
mind.
proper.
Why not? Seeing as we're both
We bring
friends
people
of the
together.
Traveler,
We do it all the
it'd be
time.
more convenient for us to use our real names.
This is a very
Besides,
cute meeting.
We've already corresponded with each other many times before. In fact,
This is
I
so
feel a
good!
bit
I'm
self-conscious
so happy.
seeing you act so politely.
It's not just you, Albedo. We haven't seen Xingqiu act this awkward before.
Yeah, no, he's usually the one making other people awkward. Bullying
Guys,
Xiangyong.
It's certainly not good taste for you two to be teasing me like that.
You deserve a little teasing. You
By the way,
tease Xiangyong
we
every day.
happened to find a story from the poem hunt competition at the docks. I heard that you are collecting them.
Poem hunt?
You know, that thing where we have to find
Oh,
pieces
God.
of paper with
This is
stories
why
of the
lies
Five
never work.
Kasen. Venti found one, and then he was allowed to be a model for one of your portraits.
Huh? Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, I understand the story now. Thank you. It's very helpful.
Splendid. Though, I'm still piecing together the story myself. Would you kindly explain it to me in more detail?
If all of you are free, why don't we discuss this over a meal?
Well, about that.
Do you have other plans, Xingqiu?
No, not at all. Speaking of dining, Shimura's unagi chasuke is quite delicious. Would you like to go there?
Shimura's. Unfortunately, today is a bit windy.
This
How about
interaction is why Genshin is so good at writing simple interactions of characters just being like, oh, like, because other games wouldn't think to do this. Literally, other games would go like, how about we go to Baba Baba restaurant? And the other guy goes, okay, let's go there. But instead, they're like, this is such a normal conversation to have. Have you ever been with your friends or anyone you met and you're just like, oh, let's go to this cafe? And you're like, they don't really do very good stuff on Tuesday. We go to this cafe instead. And and the other one's like, oh, but I don't really like that. And it's like, oh, let's go to this one then. It's such a natural way of writing.
The restaurant instead.
That's perfectly fine with me. But I must first unpack
Yeah, you
my
unpack that luggage.
Let's meet later at Uyu Restaurant.
Something didn't quite add up just now.
Huh? No way! Paimon thinks we acted well together. Did we say something we weren't supposed to?
No, Paimon, I'm not referring to us. Traveler, what are your thoughts?
Huh? Xingqiu's suspicious. Hey!
Wait, something's
what
up?
are you two talking about?
Paimon, you read the poem, right? Although it may seem confusing to Xingqiu on its own, what if we read it together with a previous poem we found?
Read them together? Let's see. Suiko lost Aoi no Okina's poem in a drunken stupor. So, Aoi no Okina recovered the poem and gave it to some mysterious person. Huh? Wait a minute. Could today's story be hinting that the one who stole the latest copies of A Legend of Sword is Xingqiu?
That would be crazy. See, I trust Xingqiu with my life, so like, I'm wondering what's happening here then.
No way! That can't be right! Xingqiu only arrived in Inazuma.
But he was very tired.
And that is precisely the point of suspicion. If Xingqiu had only just arrived in Inazuma,
I didn't even
could
think
he
about
recommend
this.
Shimura's
I thought,
chasuke?
well, actually, I did think, but I thought he just like would. I literally just thought he like recommended a restaurant he heard of.
Moreover, he didn't raise any questions when I suggested another place because of the windy
Oh
weather.
wow!
This means he knows that Shimura's
Albedo.
is an open-air restaurant.
Albedo.
Are you saying that Xingqiu has
That would be
already
very
been in
weird for him to lie to
Inazuma for
us.
some time, and that he's only pretending he just arrived?
Yes, that is indeed my conclusion.
But how could Xingqiu be the book thief? His mission is to fight for justice, isn't it? There's no way he'd do something against his own ideals.
Calm down, Paimon. Even though this is the first time I've met Xingqiu in person, we've communicated via letters for some time
Someone
now.
saying Cam did the Paimon is
I
probably
do
a first,
have
though, by the
some
way.
understanding of his character. I think there must be some
Yeah,
deeper
for sure.
motive at play here. The story also tells us that Aoi no Okina flees with a poem because of a threat.
So he took them because they were in danger. I love the posters in the background, the banners.
It's difficult to say at this point. But given that Uyu restaurant is indoors, it'll be easy for us to detect anyone following.
So
or
smart,
eavesdropping
Albedo,
on
so
us.
smart.
I think it should be safe for us
What
to
a
talk there.
genius.
I'll be relying on your assistance to get to the bottom of this matter. Good. Then let's head to Uyu
So
restaurant.
he has to keep up with his own lies, and then we have to keep up with our lies. It's a big lie festival, the Irodori festival.
I don't see anyone suspicious around. It seems clear for the moment. Let's go inside and wait for Xingqiu.
Oh, this whole thing's starting to make Paimon a little nervous. What do we do? And what do we talk about when
I know, it's
Xingqiu
tough,
gets
it's tough.
here?
First, we must ascertain whether Xingqiu was already in Inazuma or not. If we can find evidence of him deceiving us, then we can use it as leverage to persuade him to tell us the truth. Since we're still waiting for him, why don't you go and chat with other guests in the restaurant and see if you can learn anything
Cool.
useful.
Cool.
Albedo, what should we talk about when Xingqiu gets here? Any ideas?
I will try to break the ice by talking about our work on novels and illustrations. If he really is hiding something, then he might feel even more nervous than we do. If we start by talking about our work creating novels, perhaps he will lower his guard.
Oh, come to think of it, Xingqiu mentioned that he'd like to thank you for finishing the illustrations on time. He said they looked amazing despite the time you had.
Is that so? That is also a very valuable clue.
And then they get to ask around to different characters here as well. This is so well done.
The last phase of the Irodori Festival is when they release the all-new publications. The one I'm really looking forward to is A Legend of Sword.
That's right. A signed first edition is going to become quite the collectible. I've got to get my hands on a copy.
I've seen Genyu's signature before. His handwriting is super neat. He must be
Diligent is a
really
great way to
diligent about his
describe
style.
He'll
Xingqiu.
be there in person on the day of the release, so we'll get a good look at him then. I hear that he's actually pretty young.
Wait a minute, did you just hear that? Not only will Xingqiu be signing novels at the release, but his handwriting is super neat?
Hello there. What can I get for you?
Hi, do you have any special recommendations today?
Why, of course. I'd personally recommend our freshly caught seafood. It's been pouring these past 2 days, so the fishing boats haven't been able to sail at all. But the weather
So how's this
finally
gonna
cleared up
be
today,
important?
So we have some fresh catch.
So the weather at sea has been bad these past few days?
It sure has. A few guests from Liyue were just telling me that their boat was heaving and rolling all the way here. They couldn't do anything but sleep the entire
Interesting.
trip.
Oh, this might be some useful
Because he was sleeping when he
information.
got here. He was just sleeping off the boat, right? When he first arrived here, we found him sleeping.
That was delicious. Inazuman cuisine largely consists of fresh seafood, which is certainly to my liking.
That's good. We were worried you might not have an appetite because you didn't sleep well. Now's our chance. Let's talk to Xingqiu
Paimon,
and see
he's
if
right
he says
there.
anything useful. Maybe we could start by asking him about the journey.
Obviously, I can't control this.
Well, I've never embarked on such a long journey before. Though I was quite excited when we set off, the long days at sea quickly became most
As they would.
monotonous.
Speaking of the journey, did anything noteworthy happen along the way?
Well, to be honest, I spent most of the trip
Oh,
with my nose
no.
in a novel.
But I mean, like, he said he was reading a novel. If there was a storm, you're not going to read a novel that much.
To be honest, there wasn't much to see. Just water all around, morning
There was a
to
storm,
night.
though.
The sheer monotony of the trip caused everyone to grow a little impatient. So, when the peak of Mount Yogo finally appeared in the distance as we approached the islands of Inazuma, everyone crowded the deck to have a look. However, the ship sailed along at a crawling pace. It took a whole day from the time we saw the mountain peak to the time we docked.
Paimon didn't catch anything suspicious so far. Oh, right! If it took an entire day to reach the docks. Then it would have been pouring rain at the time they saw the top of the mountain.
We learned a couple of things from his
Guys, he's right
account,
there.
but we still require more evidence. Let's discuss creating novels with
He's like,
Xingqiu.
well, look, he's staring at us.
Speaking of illustrations, Albedo, I've long wished to express my sincerest gratitude for providing the illustrations in my novel. My novel didn't sell well in Liyue, so I must admit that I had some reservations regarding its potential. Yet you've consistently managed to select the most important scene of the chapter for your illustrations. This made me feel as though what I was trying to express could be understood after all.
Thank you. However, I took some risks in the illustrations, so I'm feeling slightly uneasy myself. Light novel illustrations are typically centered around the characters, but this time, I adopted a different approach in the illustration for the last chapter.
Well, that scene was intended to depict the change in the world, so I thought it very fitting to draw
Wait.
only scenery.
Did he? Are they saying that he knew what it looked like before he saw the final version?
No, there was a crack in his alibi. My illustrations were sent for printing them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He knew about it before the end.
So, logically speaking, there's no way he could possibly know what the illustrations look like. Xingqiu, we have something very important to ask you now.
Oh? Why the solemn looks all of a sudden? Huh? I'm afraid I don't follow.
Mr. Okazaki told us earlier that actually the weather at sea was very bad these last few days. So when you said that everyone came running to the deck to see Mount Yogo, that couldn't have happened.
On top of that,
Just
the
confronting him on this as
latest
well is
installment
very
of The Legend of Sword
interesting.
will only be revealed at the Irodori festival. Even we, the creators, haven't received a sample copy. And if that's the case, how could you know what my illustrations look like?
Well...
The jig's up, Xingqiu. You were already in Inazuma
I'm actually so
before
interested to see
today,
what he's gonna
weren't
say
you?
to this.
Are you in some kind
Yeah.
of danger but can't
Yeah.
tell us the truth? Don't worry. The Traveler and
And-
Albedo are no
And your
pushovers.
DPS output is incredible.
No!
High five.
Please, you misunderstand me. I suppose my lack of sleep is inevitably taking its toll on my mind.
Yeah, because he
notice
would have
for a
known.
moment that you
He's
were
good at
testing me
like
at all.
he's good at playing tricks. He would have noticed that a while back if it was like properly rested, fully fed Xingqiu. Because he's literally like pulled off really great plans before in from the shadows.
I did in fact come to Inazuma early to handle some things. Let me consider how to explain this.
It's cool.
This is most
cool.
embarrassing.
We're all embarrassing.
Oh,
Oh my God, Venti's back.
this isn't a coincidence.
Where's
I
Clee?
didn't expect to see everyone here.
Huh? Tone deaf bard, what are
She-
you doing
she's
here?
just- This
I
rivalry.
heard that the owner of this establishment has some fine aged wines. I didn't want to miss the opportunity
There
to
he goes.
taste them.
Paimon knew you couldn't possibly be up to anything good.
Says who? In fact, I come as the bearer of good tidings.
Did he just do a says who? That's like, to me, like, it's the relationship between Paimon and Venti is so funny because it is like a brother and a sister arguing. Why would you do that? Says who? Says who? Who said I did that? You know, it's so funny.
I just bumped into Kujo Sara a moment ago. She
What?
said that the Tenryou Commission has apprehended the criminal who stole all those copies of A Legend of Sword. You
Oh,
needn't worry about it
who is
any
it?
longer.
For a second, I thought Clee.
The criminal who stole A Legend of Sword?
Did I say something I shouldn't have?
Oh,
Oh
Venti.
no. The person they apprehended. Was it by chance an editor named Onodera?
Apologies, Kujo Sara didn't mention a name.
I'm living for
But
these
I saw
interactions,
her
by the
taking
way.
Someone toward Hanamizaka.
Everyone, it's too late to explain. We must make haste
Let's go.
and rescue Onodera. Please, wait. Onodera is innocent.
That's why he was nervous.
So you must be the
At the start of
author
the
A
the
Legend
mission.
of Sword. I
Or the
didn't
event.
expect to see others tagging along with you.
Anyway, you mustn't take him away. I can explain everything.
No need to worry, Zhenyu. I've just explained everything to Madame Kujo, and Kuroda has testified for me.
Yes. In fact, we were just getting ready to leave.
Oh, phew. What a relief. Wait a minute. Does everyone else here already know?
Well, to be precise, we had dispatched 2 additional squads
Sarah's
here
good at her
in
job.
order to prevent the suspect from escaping.
Yeah, he's not. This is not the usual Xingqiu.
What exactly is going on here?
Though it's most embarrassing, it appears quite a few people are aware of the situation now. There's no use keeping it a secret. In the end, I'm the one responsible for this whole predicament.
No, Xingqiu. It's only appropriate that I take responsibility for this. Everyone,
Please explain
let me
to Calvin.
For the
Also known
Irodori
as Romer.
Festival, I recommended the idea of selling newly released novels signed by the authors. Not only was this the first major project I was in charge of since joining the Yai publishing house, but Lady Yai also gave me a lot of
she's been very
support.
nice to you.
However, I did not discuss our plans with the authors in advance. As a result, it caused a great deal of trouble for Xingqiu.
Yes, to be frank, calligraphy is not my strong point, so signing events are really not my forte.
Even though such an event will be difficult for Xingqiu, after telling him how important the plans were to me, he immediately boarded a ship to Inazuma to come up with a solution. So these past few days, Xingqiu has been actively practicing his handwriting. However, it takes time to sign each book, and we realized the time we reserved for the signing was not nearly enough. So I came up with the idea of moving the new books from the warehouse to my place. That way, Xingqiu could use these few days to sign them all. I thought everything would work out without a hitch. I never expected that someone would immediately realize that the books were missing from the warehouse. To make things worse, I was on vacation and staying with Xingqiu in my house these past few days. I had no idea that the situation had turned into such a huge mess. All of this happened.
We could tell how nervous you are at the start of this.
Event.
Onodera, I agreed to your proposal because I didn't want the readers to know of my unsightly
Oh, that's pretty. That's kind of
Also, I knew that Onodera had been misled by one of my prior
That's kind of like a bit like, you know, I don't know, like handwriting for some reason. When someone's like, I have bad handwriting, it always makes me really upset because it's like usually they have like better handwriting than they think they do, but they just compare themselves to other people's handwriting all the time.
At a previous event, the Yai publishing house had requested autographs of authors so that they could be put on display. I practiced tirelessly for an entire day to finally deliver a stylish and elegant signature for the event.
That's so sweet.
But looking back on it now, I had dug myself into a hole by delivering that nice signature for the sake of my pride.
Hey, come on, you two. Loosen up a little. The theft was nothing more than a simple misunderstanding. Besides, everyone has something they do not wish others to see.
Yeah, that's right. All that matters is that Xingqiu and his books are okay.
Yeah, everything's okay.
Onodera, I think you should explain the truth regarding the stolen books to the rest of the people on retail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone's
I
safe.
understand.
Everyone's happy.
I'll apologize to everyone.
We should probably be heading back to Rito as well. Let's tag along.
Onodera, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be on leave these few days?
I'm very sorry for all the trouble that I've caused.
Yes, Onodera, but why didn't you tell everyone earlier? If you had told us, we could have thought of some ways to help.
Yeah, usually you want to fix things yourself though, because you're worried about what people will say.
And we should be helping each other in tough situations like this.
Let's leave the past behind us now. Our first priority is to help Xingqiu with his signatures. How is your progress so far?
My progress is not what I had hoped for. Even after working through
Oh
the
man,
night these past
I will help
few days,
Xingqiu whatever way
I've
he
only
needs.
finished
We'll
perhaps
forge some
1/10
signatures.
of the signatures.
Oh, no wonder Xingqiu looked so sleepy today.
I understand. Murata, go back to Yai Publishing House and get Aratani to book a room on the second floor of the Uyu restaurant. We'll be using it for Xingqiu's emergency
Great shot.
calligraphy lessons.
Yes, Mr. Hirayama. It just so happens that my brother is a calligrapher.
So they're doing. Am I getting this straight here? Sorry.
Use emergency
They're doing like emergency calligraphy lessons. I got that right. I know why this is so sweet
yes,
to me.
Mr. Hirayama.
This is so sweet.
It just so happens that
Yes,
my brother
yes,
is
please
a
get your
calligrapher.
brother.
Should I ask him to lend his assistance?
Look at the
as well?
Yaimiko light novel in the back.
Yes, good idea. Ah, you've just reminded me. 2 calligraphers from Liyue arrived today. We've worked with them before,
Yes.
so I'll go and ask them to help out too.
It seems I'm really in for it now.
It's okay.
No need to worry, Xingqiu. I'm sure you can do it. Didn't you finish the last chapter of your
Once
novel
everything's
in just
done, it's
1 week's
done.
time?
It's all over. You know what I mean? You
Yes,
can stop
but
worrying
writing
about it.
novels and learning calligraphy are two entirely different skills.
Even though Xingqiu still has to deal with his handwriting issue, Paimon somehow feels a little relieved.
Yep. Yep. There is.
I
It's
always
not
used
as
to
dangerous
prefer
as we thought it
working alone
was.
in my workshop, but I've come to realize that solving problems with others.
Look at
also
this
has
crew
its
here.
We also owe a special ode of gratitude to the mysterious person who has been leaving important info
I wonder who it
for us
is.
along
I
the
hope they
way.
reveal it.
Huh? You mean whoever left behind those stories about the Five Kasen?
Pardon me, but what are you talking about?
Oh, right. We haven't had a chance to explain things to Xingqiu yet.
Yeah, like the way I see it is like it's gonna be upsetting at first having to learn calligraphy, having to go through all these lessons, but at the same time, once it's over, it's over. I do feel for him. I do definitely feel for him because it's when you're self-conscious about something, it can really eat away at you. You know.
I see. It appears that Onodera and I were spotted when we were moving the books. Albedo, may I ask you one thing? Are you able to include me in a portrait as well? Not only do I owe the successful resolution of today's incident to that story, but I also hope that I'll remember this lesson.
No problem. Considering the similarities between the portrait and the events that have taken place, your proposal is very reasonable.
Heck yeah.
That figure
Oh,
was none other than
oh my
Aoi no
God.
Okina himself. This turn of events had begun with an unnamed
artwork.
individual. Under
The
whose
absolute
coercion,
artwork.
Aoi no Okina was forced to take drastic measures to retrieve a page of poetry.
It's
He knew
beautiful.
nothing of this individual's true intentions.
Look at
All
this.
he knew was that the poem had to do with an old acquaintance.
Can we get this out
Akihiko.
for Xingqiu? What's the actual art gonna look like? Let me see. Wait, show us. Yeah, this outfit. I know it's not good for combat, but it's beautiful, and it suits him so well. Very good artist rendition. Unbelievable.
Really is something. He finished the portrait
It's beautiful.
of Aoi no Okina in
It's
no
gorgeous
time
as
at
well.
all. Wonder how Xingqiu's calligraphy training is going at Uyu Restaurant. Hey, do you think whoever left those stories for us could be hiding somewhere nearby?
It's a possibility.
Oh, hello, Mr. Storywriter.
Okay, Paimon.
Could you please help Xingqiu with something?
Paimon's still thinking about her people always.
The release of his new book is super important to him.
What?
What's that sound?
It's a cat.
It was just a cat. Looks like we
Okay,
can't make
very
them
cool
reveal
though.
themselves
Very
that
cool
easily.
that they did that, like little scare.
Well, let's go back and get some rest.
Wait.
We still have to go
Wait.
to the docks and wait
Wait.
for another ship
What are they
tomorrow
doing?
morning.
Wait. What do we know? Okay, we're not gonna look too hard because I feel like no one else got to look too hard. You know, when they watched this the first time or they saw this the first time. So there's another beautiful illustration, absolutely gorgeous. Who's gonna be the next illustration? I wonder. I think she was a model for this portrait, and it depicts Aonoki stealing away the poems that he himself written. In Liyue's own style clothes. Miko won't mind. Kazuha.
Greetings, traveler in Paimon. I heard there would be guides for the Irodori festival, but I didn't expect it would be
I
you
didn't think it'd be you two.
We didn't expect to see you either. Returning as a guest for the Irodori Festival, no doubt.
I was a little surprised myself when I received the invitation. But after wandering the outside world for so long, it's good to have an opportunity to return to my homeland and pay respects to my old friends.
Yep.
Kazuha, when we saw you in the distance just now, you seemed to be looking for something. What happened?
Yeah, he was like searching something at the end of the pier.
Yes. You see, when I came off the boat with everyone just now, I suddenly heard light footsteps around me.
And he's good at searching
I
for
could
stuff.
tell they were not footsteps of a regular passenger. But by the time I turned around, the person had already disappeared. I only heard a splash come from below the pier. Even though I didn't manage to catch a glimpse of them, I found this strange piece of paper by my feet.
Oh, does the paper happen to have a poem written on it?
Huh. How did you know? fascinating. It's almost hard to believe such things could happen. Sure, here it is. Please, have a look.
Sorry? Okay. Oh.
Is.
It's beside me, so I have to learn to pause in time. So, the Five Kasen Splendor Akihito. Long I've been famed, and since my youth I had great ambition. I stamped every new verse with a scarlet seal, and thus I was known to all. But last year, when we presented our verses, mine was found to be taken from poets past. For the theft and deception, I was banished into the wilderness. The 5 radiant lights shall never be again. So it's someone who is plagiarizing stuff. So we're gonna get a plagiarism story now, I'd say, for this part. This is really cool how they're doing this. This is a top tier event. I cannot wait to get into the events when I catch up to Genshin.
Basically says that Akihito got his name from his love of red seals. However, the Shogun discovered that he had committed plagiarism, and he was soon exiled. Well, if Paimon were to rate today's story, it sounds pretty unfortunate.
I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with this story. I too was once wanted as a criminal by the shogunate. So I'm not all that different from Akihito mentioned.
So he's gonna be the one that's drawn this time? We're gonna see a Kazuha drawing?
Akihito was exiled by the Shogun because of his wrongdoings. You did nothing wrong, Kazuha.
If this was Venti, she'd be like, you did something wrong. What? We'll figure it out.
Traveler, what are you thinking about?
The seal mentioned this. Oh.
By the way, you mentioned that your friend has been struggling because he's unable to sign his name quickly, right? In Liyue and Inazuma, there is a saying, that which has been stamped has also been signed.
Like a stamp or something, like a seal, yeah.
Perhaps using a seal could be a feasible solution. While sailing at sea, I sometimes carve things to pass the time. If you wish
That'd be
to
really
create
sweet.
a stamp for his seal, I might
That'd be so
able to
sweet.
help.
That's an idea. Quick, let's go tell Albedo. Albedo, we figured out a way to help Xingqiu.
Interesting. A story of the Five Kasen appears again, and with a timely solution. A stamped seal, huh? Let me think. Indeed, it is an efficient solution. If we use a stamp, then Xingqiu won't have to struggle with his handwriting anymore.
Is there another problem?
However, since Xingqiu's signature has been previously revealed to the readers,
Yeah. And people are looking for that. We remember people at the bar were like, we want his signature.
for his new books. But I have another idea. Using a seal is a part of it, of course. Let's go to Ouya restaurant now to discuss my idea with everyone.
Man, this is such like having these interactions like between
That's it,
like
Xingqiu. Your writing has greatly improved today.
Back off.
Yesterday's intensive
Back
training
off from
was
him.
effective.
You're making him
My
feel uncomfortable.
apologies, but I simply can't do it anymore.
Yeah, leave him alone.
My hands are
I will
so
kill.
sore that I can't even
I will
move
murder.
them anymore.
YouTube.
Should've known
This is a
better
video
than to
game.
read
I'm not actually
novels
threatening
during
someone.
Calligraphy class.
You just had a 10-minute break. Come on, you can do this.
10-minute break ain't enough.
When it comes to pushing a deadline, there's no one more brutal than Mr. Hirayama.
I don't care. I don't care how what deadline there is. Leave my boy alone.
To handle troublesome authors.
Whoa, this is getting scary. It hasn't even been that long, and Xingqiu's already
It's so weird to see him in this state.
Mr. Hirayama, we found a solution that might just solve our dilemma. In both Liyue and Inazuma, seals are widely used as the equivalents of a signature. If we use a stamp to leave the author's seal on the books, then we could make the signature process a lot easier. Of course, a seal on its own is not enough. So
Xingqiu's
I
like, please.
propose that each signature consists of 2 parts. First, we'll use a personalized
Love the
seal.
novel. Look how
We can
cool this
simply
looks.
carve one using Qinyu's signature as the design. In addition, I'll also design a simple but elegant pattern that's easy for Xingqiu to write. That way, he will only need to draw
Oh,
a
look at the
simple
smile.
pattern
He's
on
so
each
happy
book.
about it.
Let me think.
No thinking.
All right, I think that
Whatever
will
helps
work.
Xingqiu we're doing.
Not only does it still involve the author's own handwriting, but the result should be very beautiful
It'd be really
as well.
pretty, you're right.
So,
Yeah, look, he's so
what
happy.
you mean to say is, I've been saved from this predicament?
Yeah, you have.
Mr. Hirayama, it suddenly occurred to me that the reason we gave up on live book signings previously was because it would take too long for the author to sign each book. But if we adopted Calx's proposed method, we might have enough time to do signatures at the live event. And if all the authors sign their books in the same fashion, then Genyu's signature wouldn't look out of place.
If you think it's feasible, I would certainly be happy to design signatures for the other authors as well.
Yeah?
Yes, and you may leave carving the stamps to me.
It's so... This is why I cannot wait to catch up, and like, obviously we're going to be going through it at a good pace, but at a reasonable pace. It's not, you know, we're going to pace ourselves. But like, I can't wait to catch up so I can see more of these events for myself. Like, these interactions I live for, these characters from different places, you know? We have Albedo, Xingqiu, and Kazuha in one place, you know?
In the new release event.
It is a great honor to use a signature designed by Calx.
My pen name is quite complicated and isn't suitable for signing events. However, if we implement this new format, then it'll be a dream come true for me as well.
Great! Looks like everyone.
I can't do cursive writing. They literally skipped our year when it came to cursive writing in school. It was so funny. We only realized when we got this, like later on in the years into our second school, we were like, oh.
The books that Xingqiu already signed can be used as special prizes.
They never taught us cursive, and they're like, you never taught you cursive? Yeah, they just skipped our year.
We did it. The event is saved.
Thanks to everyone's efforts, Onodera and I are finally free of that mess.
That's right! You're finally free, Xingqiu! Maybe you should step outside for some
You know,
fresh
get a
air.
break. You're right, Paimon. Mother Paimon again.
Onodera,
This guy was
please
trying to
inform
leave.
Lady Ai
No,
of the
maybe not. That's
changes
not a
in the
door.
event plan when you have a moment. She will surely like to hear about our new idea. You're a quick thinker, Onodera. As long as you exercise a little prudence, you'll be able to achieve
You know,
great things.
Yaimiko has great
Got it.
time for him
Thank
as well.
you very much, Mr. Hirayama.
I suppose this is all a blessing in disguise, isn't it? I'm sure readers will be thrilled to hear that the release event will also have a book signing.
Look at these characters all together. And Paimon in the middle.
Where should we go next?
And Venti's here too.
Traveler,
What?
there you are.
Oh, it's Ayaka!
That's...
And
I was just gonna say this. Me and Paimon have the same brain cell. That it is an interesting combo.
I was just going to the festival venue to prepare the Ikebana lesson when I found a strange piece of paper on a flower stand.
Oh.
This bar just happened to be close by at the time. He informed me that you've also found similar papers recently. As such, we came together to find you two.
But the paper she found isn't quite the same as the ones we found before.
Here's the paper. Please have a look.
5 Kansas Splendor. Sorry.
Please have a look.
The 5 Kansas Splendors seem Mizomi. I submerged the verse into clear water and the truth did emerge. So if you put it maybe into like water and then you can find the actual truth of everything.
all the poems we found before were roughly the same length.
Yeah, poems don't have to be too long or too short.
And even though there are only 2 short sentences, neither of them are next to the title or centered on the page. The position of the writing seems to indicate that there is other content written on this paper besides these 2 lines.
If we take the poem literally, it reads, "Dip this paper in water and see the truth naturally appear." Speaking of which, I have an ancient text at home, specializing in ancient and exotic stories. It mentions a special ink that will show itself when wet and disappear when it's dry.
So, shall we give it a whirl? It just so happens that there's a pond nearby.
Wow, look! It's really working!
Look at this.
More words have appeared!
Look, I'm sorry. I know, like, I should be focusing on this aspect of the story, but, like, look at what is happening. Wander, Paimon, Albedo, the Xingqiu, Venti, Kazuha, Ayaka, all in the one place. This is so special.
On the paper! Let Paimon see what it says.
Going over his poetry, I found that the plagiarized piece did not have his scarlet seal. I submerged the verse into clear water and the truth did emerge. The true verses were not washed away, but the text of that despicable crime faded. Ayo no Okina passed me by, just as he was writing a verse for Akihito. One storm had yet to settle, and it was already time to write new poems.
Story says that after Sumizomi got the collection of poems from Akihito and put them into a stream of water, the plagiarized words in the poem became blurry. Huh? Why would that happen?
You see, Paimon, in the past, when printing was not yet well developed, handwritten text could easily become smudged in books when exposed to moisture. To ensure the text lasted longer, they'd either write using a special
Wow.
ink or coat the paper
Look at this
surface with
crowd.
a waterproof
Look at
coating
them.
once the writing was finished. Such special inks are time-consuming and laborious to produce, and the waterproof coating could also prove just as difficult. However, since Akihito's poetry collection was an important gift to be presented to the shogun, surely one of those two methods was used to protect it. But as for the plagiarized poems, not only would they lack Akihito's seal, but the words would also react differently when exposed to liquid.
This poem was written by Akihito.
Which means Akihito
Yep.
didn't plagiarize his work. He was set up.
Yes, it appears that this is the truth that Sumizome's story is trying
Look
to
at them
convey.
just smiling as well.
Although the story is saddening, I've decided on the subjects to use for Akihito and Sumizome's portraits.
I'll never get over it. I'm sorry. This is
Ayaka,
amazing.
Would you be willing to be the models for my painting?
What?
I would be delighted.
Yes.
The two of them?
As would I.
There you go. The next two portraits should be ready in no time.
Yes. And now that all
We just need the
four
fifth one,
stories
though.
have all been collected, the story of the Five Kasen is now fully completed.
There's a fifth portrait though, right? Let's see this now. How do they look? How do they look?
Inazuma had 5 legendary poets. People bestowed upon them the title of the Five Kasen.
One year, the poet Suiko made his way to Tenshukaku and presented the
Oh, look at
Kasen's
this.
work for the shogun's perusal.
It's
But a
I'm
page
so
from the
happy.
works of Aoi no Okina had been torn out,
Great
and
illustration.
Suiko was questioned regarding the matter. Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night before.
I love that he
and
took off his
vaguely
tights to
recalled
drink.
a
It's so funny to me
mysterious
for some
figure
reason.
approaching while he was intoxicated.
And then the transition.
That figure was none other
I
than
can't get. Look at
Aoi no
this. They
Okina
need to release this
himself.
guy. I know it would be
This
good for
turn of
combat, but I
events
need
had
it.
begun with
I
an
won't fight with him. I
unnamed
swear I get
individual,
you.
under whose coercion Aoi no Okina was forced to take drastic measures to retrieve a page
So
of
good.
poetry.
Oh my
He
god,
knew
it's so
nothing
good.
of this individual's true intentions. All he knew was that the poem had to do with an old acquaintance, Akihito.
Oh my god, the
Akihito
smile on
had once
Kazuha's
belonged to the
face.
Five Kasen. Each poem he
seal.
composed, he marked with
And
a
they're saying the story
scarlet red seal,
themselves.
hence the Aka in his name.
This is so nice.
Such a distinguished writer was he, and yet
Oh, the
one
music.
of the poems he had submitted the previous year was found to be
Oh
plagiarized.
no.
Akihito was exiled. for
Just
his
like,
crimes.
yeah, just like Kazuha was exiled as well and made into a criminal. It's so perfect. And look
and
him tied
only
up.
4 of the Five Kasen remained.
It's so perfect the way they did this.
Sumizome went
Oh
over
my god, that
Akihito's
guy.
poems and noticed
That
that
outfit.
the plagiarized poem lacked his seal.
It's gorgeous.
She immersed his poetry in a stream nearby.
And could you, like, first of all, it's an amazing outfit. Oh my god. It's beautiful. But could you also say that, like, because the one who got the rebellion started, really, and the one who got the ball rolling with us joined the rebellion that eventually led to Kazuha not being a criminal anymore, could you say that, like, in a way that relates to the fact that Ayaka started all that?
Only on the plagiarized
She's a big
poem
reason
did the
why
ink run.
Kazuha is free. Oh my god, look!
Aoi no Okina passed by and witnessed Sumizome's doing, which he then
The illustrations are
recorded
so
in the
good.
poem.
I'm sorry that I'm
Thus
so focused on the
transpired
artwork, but it's beautiful.
events of Suiko's poetry submission, and this is where the story
Is it where the story
to
comes to an end? Is it though? It is a beautiful story as well. Let's see them now in their glorious form. Gorgeous, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. It's just beautiful. Like obviously the contents of it are not very nice, but like it's the artwork that's actually just gorgeous.
Yeah. Ever since we completed the story of the Five Kasen, there's still one thing Paimon hasn't been able to figure
The fifth
out.
Kasen?
One of the Five Kasen is called Kuranushi, right? It's just that, how could the story of the Five Kasen finish without him appearing at all?
Oh.
Venti laughing at
really
Paimon
not
never gets
noticed?
old.
Not noticed what? This is no time to be playing games.
That's what I'm saying. She'd accept that laugh from anyone else.
Well, what he means is that the story of Kuronushi was already embedded within the 4 poems.
Huh? Really?
That's right. The key lies in the poem that Aoi no Okina wrote after seeing Sumizome rinsing the poetry collection. An average person could never understand the scene of a young girl washing Akahito's poetry collection in a stream. Even Aoi no Okina couldn't figure out the meaning behind Sumizome's actions. He was simply reminiscing and thinking about his old acquaintances. However, for the perpetrator who framed Akahito, it was completely obvious. He was worried that if this poem was seen by the Shogun, then the Shogun could discover the truth behind the plagiarism incident. If that happened, then he'd be finished. So, in desperation, he threatened Aoi no Okina to make him tear out this poem.
Which means the one who threatened Aoi no Okina is the same person that framed Akahito.
So he's the culprit.
What? Kuronushi?
That's right. Though there are only 4 poems, they still managed to tell the complete story of all 5 Kasen. Since the Shogun mentioned in the poems is certainly not the one of the 5 Kasen, the only character left is the mysterious one with an unknown identity.
Oh, okay. Paimon is finally starting to get it now.
However, this also brings something else to mind. The story of the 5 Kasen has more or less reflected everything that's been happening around us lately. Which begs the question, is there a Kuronushi
The person leaving
in our world as
the
well?
letters behind, maybe?
A Kuronushi? In our world?
Speaking of which, I wonder if our dear Kazuha has come up
Yeah,
with
he's
anything.
thinking. He's thinking.
Oh, right! Kazuha! He's been pretty quiet this whole time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is there some significance in this festival as well? Like, obviously, this shows the importance of like how Inazuma is moving forward. But do these stories, whether it be the story of plagiarism or being sent away or being cast aside, is this relating to how Inazuma was run previously too?
Let's ask him.
Don't feel bad about correcting me sometimes, guys.
Kazuha,
Has to be done.
Are you okay? You've been standing in front of this blank canvas for a while, and you don't look so good.
Apologies for making a wild assumption, but has the story of the 5 Kasen
That
reminded
shrine
you
man in
of
the back is
anything?
deadly.
Yes. A few things did come to mind, actually. However, they were nothing more than some past incidents regarding my family. I don't mind sharing the stories, but I'd prefer not to bring you any more trouble.
Hey, we're all friends here, Kazuha. You can always tell us whatever's on your mind.
Kaidehara, please forgive my assumption, but perhaps you were thinking of the Raiden Gokuden?
The Raiden Gokuden? What's that?
It appears that Miss Kamisato and I were thinking
It
of
can't
the
be
same
overstated
thing,
how Paimon is very
but
much a
it
surrogate
also
for us
has
asking
much
questions
to
as
do
well.
with the Yashiro Commission. It would be improper to speak of it here without the consent of Miss Kamisato.
It's fine. Those of us here are all trustworthy,
Yep.
so there isn't any harm in it.
Where's Klee?
However, this matter is somewhat complicated and may be difficult to explain. Let me start with the Raiden Gokuden. As you all know, the Yashiro Commission's primary purpose is managing ceremonial and cultural affairs, and Inazuma's art of forging swords is a very important part of our culture.
Right.
The Raiden Gokuden were once the top 5 schools of the forging art in Inazuma. Although these families were swordsmiths by craft, they also held many important positions in the Yashiro Commission. Unfortunately, of the 5, only the Amenoma art still maintains its artisan lineage. The descendants of the Ishin art are also still alive, but the craft has been lost to time. The descendants of the Ishin art are none other than the Kaidehara family.
Whoa.
Whoa! We knew Kazuha came from a noble family, but we had no idea about his connection to the Yashiro Commission and sword making.
Which, would explain, him having such a reverence for Inazuma. Like, I feel like more than most people. Like, people love Inazuma in this game, right? But, he always relates it back to, his loved ones, whether it be his friend or even, he said at the start of this, my family, my home,
Yes, but that's all part of the past now. The Ishin art was lost with my great-grandfather's generation. My grandfather was dissatisfied with my great-grandfather's lack of effort. When he was young, my grandfather traveled all over Teyvat to find a way to revive the family business. but it was to no avail. And in my generation, our last remaining family property was lost as well.
I heard my elder brother mention that the decline of the Raiden Gokuden happened very rapidly. In the span of a few decades, 3 of the families suffered various misfortunes and disappeared completely. Later, there was speculation that all of these misfortunes stemmed from some background machinations, meaning that someone wanted to wipe out the Raiden Gokuden.
Right.
However, since not every family of the Raiden Gokuden came to ruin, such explanations were treated as nothing more than a conspiracy theory.
Indeed. I've also believed such ideas were just theories and rumors. However, I know that a major incident happened to my great-grandfather when he was young. Not only did it affect the Kaedahara clan, but it nearly jeopardized the Kamisato clan's position in the Yashiro Commission as well. After reading the story of the Five Kasen, I can't help but feel like it's pointing me toward the truth behind that incident.
What exactly happened to your great-grandfather, Kazuha?
I still can't say. I need to speak with someone to verify the details.
Okay, really cool. Okay.
Let's meet
Yeah,
here again
I won't lie and say
tomorrow.
that I understand everything that's
I will
happening,
tell
but
you
like,
everything I know then.
I'm actually really excited to see what the how much is even left in this. Oh wow, we're in the final stretch. So there's the other 2 done as well. Absolutely beautiful. Get your rewards there. So we have, this is Sumizoki's likeness, all done by Albedo. It's gorgeous. Ayako is the model for this picture, and it depicts Sumizoki's rinse into the poetry collection in the water with a little extra flair, of course. You know, the season we've drawn here really looks like the Shiragasagi Himejimi. So most of the guests have said the portrait is also proved the most popular in terms of photos taken. Yeah. I mean, it's Ayaka. And then we have this one here. This is Akihito's likeness done by Albedo. Kazuha was the model for this picture, and it shows Akihito, his garments red in his trademark style, kneeling before the throne as he's punished by the shogun, just like he was. Just like Kazuha was. Won't this image bring ill luck, someone asked, but neither the artist nor the model thought that this was a problem. Beautiful illustration again.
Kazuha said he would wait for us at the Five Kasen Plaza today. Let's go find him.
This is being played on iPad? Heck yeah. Crazy stuff.
Ah, you're here. It appears everyone has arrived.
Funnily enough, my Genshin account was down yesterday because my internet provider or whatever had an issue or whatever. And what's so funny about that is that like, it wouldn't lock me out of the app, but it locked me out of the PlayStation Store, which means it's probably used 2 different servers, is what I'm guessing, which is interesting. I was terrified though. I thought it got banned
A former servant who once
for being
worked
too
for
cool.
my family. I was able to learn the entirety of what happened
Oh, great.
all those years ago. In my great-grandfather's generation, the Ishin art was tasked with forging an important Goshinto according to an ancient forging diagram. Though all the craftsmen involved were very experienced, the process was still unsuccessful. Every blade that was forged was defective. When the deadline came, the blade still wasn't finished, so the craftsmen all fled and hid for fear of punishment. The Kaedahara clan and Yashiro Commission then conducted an investigation.
Sorry. I want to read this twice just because I know I'm going to miss stuff.
Years ago.
I hope that's okay.
In my great-grandfather's generation, the Ishin art was tasked with forging an important Goshinto according to an ancient forging diagram. Though all the craftsmen involved were very experienced, the process was still unsuccessful. Every blade that was forged was defective. When the deadline came, the blade still wasn't finished, so the craftsmen all fled and hid for fear of punishment. The Kaedahara clan and Yashiro Commission then conducted an investigation. My great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan eventually tracked down the craftsmen near the seaside. However, they met fierce resistance from the craftsmen, and in the end they were unable to prevent them from escaping by sea. The Kaedahara clan was severely punished for the swordsmiths that had escaped, and the family gradually fell into decline. Moreover, I heard that the head of the Kamisato clan was injured by the fleeing swordsmiths, which combined with his advanced age caused him to pass away shortly thereafter.
Jesus.
Yes. The sudden passing of the family head left the Kamisato clan leaderless. Treacherous people took advantage of the situation.
Which is why
and put the family
I
status in the
appreciate
Yashiro Commission at
Ayaka and
jeopardy.
Ido so much now.
This single incident had profound effects. Even after
What
the
they've
position
established
as
here?
head of the clan was passed to my father, the Kamisato clan still wasn't able to regain its prior reputation. But, thanks to my brother, everything is getting better now.
The failure to forge the blade was ultimately attributed to a lack of required skill and finesse. The Kaedahara clan and the Yashiro Commission always believed that was the case. However, the story of the Five Kasen seems to imply that the failure didn't stem from a lack of skill.
Another tampering.
But rather, the diagram
Another
had been
tampering.
tampered with by someone. Miss Kamisato, I heard yesterday that the Yashiro Commission has still kept the diagram ever since the failed forging all those years ago. Might I ask you to do me a favor?
Yes, I understand. I will go back and search for the diagram. Please come meet me at the Kamisato estate later.
Okay, cool. So everyone's kind of helping each other as usual, which is really good. So this is Act 4. Is this the actual last one?
Everyone, I've managed to find the old diagram.
Though the diagram is well preserved, you can still tell that it's seen at least 3 or 4 centuries of history.
Whoa, that's pretty old. Is it still possible to find any evidence?
That's the thing. Yeah, Paimon's asking a good question here.
At this point, we can only try our luck and see how
We have some of the smartest and like loveliest and most talented people with us, so I'm pretty sure we can find something. What's this? That's beautiful though, isn't it? Like, it's really pretty.
Although the effect is not too obvious, you can still see that some words have now started to smudge. Kazuha, this is clear evidence that this chart was indeed tampered with.
Another framing as well.
The Kaedahara clan all those years ago.
I see. But I fear that I've discovered this secret too late. When my grandfather was young, he proposed reviving the Ishin art many times to my great-grandfather. But my grandfather was only scolded for being too foolhardy. Yesterday, the former family servant said that my great-grandfather even went to the Yashiro Commission to request that diagram from the head of the Kamisato clan. He then showed that diagram to my grandfather and asked him and his subordinates to try to forge the sword. Sure enough, my grandfather also failed.
That's
my great-grandfather
horrible.
then told him, if you can't find the secret within, then the Ishin art deserves to
So
fade.
because it was so bad in the end, or quote unquote bad in the end, they were like, well, there's no point doing this art anymore. This one tampering kind of ruled the entire family
Inazuma
legacy.
in a rage after hearing those words.
Ripped apart his
He didn't
family.
ever see my great-grandfather again, even till the day of his passing. Looking back at it now, the argument between the two of them was simply
unintentionally meaningless.
Oh, Kazuha. I heard that your great-grandfather was very industrious when he was young. But later in life, he no longer bothered with the forging arts. It appears that his failure took quite a toll on him.
Kazuha, did your great-grandfather really say, if you can't find the secret
Also,
within?
these words are meaning something to
Did he use
Albedo.
those exact words?
yes. The servant said that he personally heard those words, and still remembers them very clearly. My grandfather was so angry at the time that he smashed my great-grandfather's cherished bonsai tree.
Yes, it appears that you understand my meaning. Kazuha, if your great-grandfather thought that the Ishin art lacked finesse, then after witnessing his son's failure, wouldn't he have said something more along the lines of, your skills aren't sufficient? But instead he said, if you can't find the secret
Albedo
within.
figuring something out here as well.
Don't you find that a little strange?
Huh? Oh, so you're saying my great-grandfather may have very well known that the failure was due to someone's
Wow.
tampering?
Yes. The current evidence suggests that is highly likely.
I apologize, but would you all please accompany me
Heck yeah, look
to
at
the
this crew.
Tenryou
The crew,
Commission?
the full crew.
After I became a wanted criminal, the Tenryou Commission seized my family's last remaining estate, which contained all of my family's old belongings. I want to inquire about the whereabouts of those belongings. If I can find them, we might be able to get some clues.
Alright, let's get moving.
So again, like, all over a misunderstanding, but it seems that he already knew.
Did something happen on Rito?
Kujo Sara. Perhaps you still remember
Oh my god, yeah, the fugitive.
Yes, I do. You're Kaedehara Kazuha, a wanted criminal during the Vision Hunt decree.
Sarah, I adore you, but don't say criminal like that. She said criminal like I still want to lock you up. she said you're still a criminal.
However, your arrest warrant
Criminal.
has since been repealed.
Sarah, we'd like to ask about the Kaedehara clan's property that was seized by the Tenryou Commission.
Oh, you gotta give that back in it, by the way. If you still have it, you gotta give it back.
Yes, the items seized at that time are
Yeah,
currently
give it back.
stored in the warehouse next to the police station. Since Kaedehara has come back to Inazuma,
There we go. Yep.
those items should be returned
Exactly.
to their rightful owner.
No, I'm afraid you misunderstand. I'm not here to reclaim those belongings.
Oh yeah, where would he put them?
I just want to investigate them. For
At this point, he's
personal
wandering
matter.
about the place, you know?
I see. All right,
I
I'll
can't be
inform the
Valbeta when
police
Xingqiu are in,
They'll
and
take you
Venti
into
are
the
here as well.
warehouse.
It's so weird. Thank you, Sarah. Oh my
Kaedehara,
god.
About the Vision Hunt decree.
That's all in the past now, Kujo-san.
There we go.
There's no need to mention it again. I know you've also had your own convictions and struggles.
There's so much of a focus on the past here.
However, may I ask something?
Oh my
of you?
god.
Yes? What is it?
Currently, I have no plans to stay in Inazuma.
That's what I was gonna
As a
say.
result, those items from my family's estate are of no use to me. Madam Kujo, I believe you are a person of integrity. After our investigation is over, I'd like to ask if you can handle those belongings
Oh
for me.
my god.
Please, sell them.
You
and
perfect,
use the money
perfect,
to help
perfect
the poor.
man.
All right, I understand. I'll be sure to take care of it.
So the response is important. Just being like, look, that's all in the past, and that's here's the thing. Maturity isn't just forgiveness, right? I don't want to say maturity because I think that's the wrong word, because I feel like if he didn't want to forgive them, it's totally okay. Like his friend was killed, he was persecuted. It'd be 100% okay to not forgive them. But what I think is so special about his response is that like he understands that Inazuma needs to heal, and we're talking about the healing of Inazuma. He loves Inazuma as a place. He talked about how much he loves Inazuma, and he believes that against his own, probably his own pain, like probably his own suffering, probably his own emotions, he is like, I will respect that you had your own convictions, you had your own orders. Let's leave it there. And now he wants to help the people of Inazuma too. Man, I don't know how people play on the
I've already
iPad. Pretty
informed
crazy.
The police station.
You called the police
I'll
on
get
me?
Someone to take
No.
you into the warehouse. So you
Come
can
on
head there
then.
directly.
Put him up.
As for all the belongings left by the Kaedehara clan, I will deal with them promptly.
You must be here to investigate the Kaedehara clan's belongings. Well, Madame Kujo's already informed me of the situation. Please, come this way. The Kaedehara clan's belongings are stored in this warehouse. Unfortunately, the items are scattered throughout in order to save space. My deepest apologies. However, I have clearly marked the corresponding items, so they shouldn't be too difficult to find. I'll be waiting for you at the door. Please, come see me if you require any assistance.
Okay.
Kazuha, since the items are scattered throughout the building, I propose we split up and look for clues.
Yes.
This
sounds
entire
like a
event
plan.
was incredible.
Thanks for
No,
your
thanks
help,
for you helping us. But like, I think that was made it all even more worth it than it actually even was already worth it. Is the idea that we got to get that response to Sarah from Kazuha.
I'll be checking around here. You and the others can start looking elsewhere.
Oh, it's
I love
you.
this little conversations we're having here as
Currently
well.
investigating the sword rack.
You do that.
Oh, since the Kaedehara clan was a family of renowned swordsmiths, then this blade should be super valuable, right? Maybe it's a treasure of the Ishin art!
I'm afraid not. Although the sword rack is made of fine wood, the swords placed here appear to be quite ordinary. Due to the dire financial situation of the late Kaedehara clan, everything of value has probably been sold off already. The blade on the sword hasn't been sharpened, but there are many signs of use on the hilt. Perhaps Kaedehara used it for training as a child.
Right.
Let Paimon see. Oh,
Paimon's always so interested in this type of stuff as well.
uneven characters etched into the scabbard. Kazuha. Wow, so it really was Kazuha's. Paimon can imagine what Kazuha was like as a kid.
I will continue investigating here and call you if I find anything interesting.
So then we're going to talk to Xingqiu. This seems like the final stretch then. If we're doing all these little conversations.
Old books. These books here are all related to
And
smelting
of course he
steel.
gets the books, yeah.
And these are about the process of forging blades. This pile over here is all about plants and flowers.
The books about plants and flowers must have belonged to Kazuha's great-grandfather.
I skimmed through them just now, but I didn't find anything particularly worth noting. I shall take a closer look and let you know if I find anything.
Very cool. And then Venti, our boy.
There must be some around here somewhere.
What are you looking for?
Do you see all these pots here? Some of them are bound to have liquor inside, right?
Hey! Everyone else is trying
He
hard
just
to
needs
help.
thirsty.
You're over here looking
He just
for a
thirsty. You're looking for a drink?
I merely jest, of course.
He knows how to annoy you,
Come
Paimon.
on. We're close to uncovering the truth now. Why do you look so worried?
Well, Paimon doesn't really get why Kazuha told Sara to sell all these belongings. What if we don't end up finding anything today? Then wouldn't Kazuha lose the chance of finding out what really happened all those years ago? You know, just saying.
I know you are worried about Kazuha, but if you ask me, he is stronger than you think. Since Kazuha made such a request to Sara, that indicates he's already made his choice.
Yeah.
Whether we find out the truth or not today,
We
or
forget how
whatever
smart
it
Venti
turns
is
out to
sometimes.
be,
He is just a really, really smart
ready to
person. And a very emotionally intelligent too.
Not intuition. Rather, I've lived for a
Yep.
long time now, so you could say I have some experience.
This
in
dude was
reading
hanging out with
people.
Vanessa, bro.
Leave the things here to me. You two can look around elsewhere.
So talk to everyone, and then we're talking to Albedo. The person who made this video, fantastic. Leaving Albedo for last, exactly what I would do too.
Oh, it's you.
For the story's sake.
Unfortunately, I have yet to find anything of value here.
Whoa, this folding screen looks pretty old though.
What does he mean by story's sake? I think that Albedo is probably the most like straightforward like thinking of everyone. He's very like methodical, so it makes sense that he might found the most. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong though.
Yes. Perhaps if it were better maintained, then it could fetch a decent price. However, I doubt it could be sold in its current condition. I was taking a closer look just now and noticed a large piece of dirt caught in the fabric fibers on the back side. The soil is deeply embedded into the cloth. That means a great deal of force was used when the dirt was lodged into the cloth. It's likely that this patch of dirt is from the very flower pot thrown by Kazuha's grandfather. Because this is not what we are looking for
Right.
now. Let me think. If I wanted to leave a message behind, I would probably choose to leave it on something a little more special.
Albedo seems to be thinking pretty hard. We better
He's a smart
not
boy.
bother him.
He's a smart one.
Everyone, I've found something that you should all have a look at.
Oh, seems Kazuha discovered something. Let's go see what he's got.
Cutscene time.
This flower
Oh,
pot
I
was
thought it was
in
gonna
my
be cutscene,
house
but
for
still.
a long time. I heard that it was left behind by my great-grandfather.
Also, the respect everyone has as well when he's talking to like just stop and be like, you know, let's listen to him. This is his stuff. This is his history, his family's history.
Dead for a while now.
Well, after my great-grandfather stopped studying the forging arts, he picked up the hobby of keeping bonsai plants. Most of his prized plants were given to others once he became seriously ill. But he specifically left behind this dead plant at the time, and even instructed my grandfather not to throw it away in his will. My grandfather deeply regretted that he never managed to reconcile with my great-grandfather, so he left the plant
Right, as a
exactly
memory.
as it was.
Something that kept it in place,
Now
that relationship
I
in
think
place.
about it, my great-grandfather could very well have left it behind for other reasons.
mention it, this flower pot is kinda suspicious.
Yes. Let's take a closer look, shall we?
We finally found something! Huh? It's only a bunch of blank paper. Do you think someone already discovered the compartment and swapped the contents?
No, I do not think that is the case here. See the paper? It's quite yellow,
Water
which
again?
means it's very old.
You mean to say that these sheets have been written with special ink? Like that which Miss Kamisato found before?
Yes, I agree with this hypothesis.
Okay, let's give it a dunk then.
There is a pond outside the police station. I'll use the water there.
We go to the police station again. Put him up, police. Put him up. Sarah's ratted us to the police for stealing cream cakes. We're gonna kill her. No, we wouldn't kill Sarah.
Well, how did it go? Those weren't just plain old sheets of
Hyman's so
paper,
inquisitive.
were they?
Just as everyone guessed, after I sprinkled some water onto the paper, writing did indeed begin to appear on it. It is a letter written by my great-grandfather.
Oh? What does the letter say?
This game actually runs really well on iPad. Like I have an
great-grandfather knew at the time.
Sorry, I'll skip because I want to say this. I want to hear this, but I'll also say it. This game runs really well on iPad. On my iPad Pro, which I've used for years for drawing, it runs just impeccably well. So that's always like a good feeling to know that if my PlayStation 5 ever broke and like I had to get a new one or whatever, like I know that I could just pick up the iPad and record the iPad. You know what I mean? And like play it on the iPad at the very least, you know? That's always good to know.
It is. I'll tell you what my great-grandfather
Take us
knew
anywhere.
at the time, but before that, I wish to take you somewhere. Everyone, please follow me.
The jungle gym? No.
Kaidehara, why did you lead us to this beach?
It is. In fact, my great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan tracked the fleeing swordsmiths to this very location. Our hypothesis was correct. My great-grandfather was well aware of the truth behind the defective blades. And it was right here where they encountered the culprit who framed the Kaidehara clan and the Raiden Gokaden. It reads, "To whoever reads this letter."
Wait, sorry.
It reads, "The Kaidehara clan."
So, and it was right when they counted the culprit. So the culprit, yeah, okay. So I thought they like,
And the Raiden
it was lots to
Gokaden.
read at once, especially when it's not me typing it out,
reads,
but yeah.
"To whoever reads this letter, I, Kaidehara Yoshinori, have been held to a certain secret throughout my entire life. I don't have much longer in this world, and after much consideration, I finally decided to disclose
Wow.
the matter. All those years ago, when I was pursuing the swordsmiths alongside Commissioner
Look at the
Kamisato
shadows again.
of the
Oh my
Yashiro
God.
Commission, I was not
I was like,
injured by
glitch, no,
one
it's
of the fleeing
intentional.
smiths. Rather,
It was night.
This is beautiful.
After the clues led us down to shore, I waited for the culprits to show themselves. However, there were no swordsmiths in sight. Only a single eccentric stranger. This stranger claimed to be the one
What?
behind the failed forgings and said that he had been patiently waiting for
No.
us. He then threatened to destroy the Raiden
Wait.
Gokaden. That person was of able body.
Of course he would.
In a
Wait,
blink
what?
of an eye, myself and the accompanying samurai had been defeated.
What?
Commissioner Kamisato was severely wounded, and I barely escaped death myself.
How?
My hat had fortunately blunted a blow to my head. The unusual stranger could have easily claimed my life at
Why?
that moment. But
Oh, incredible
after noticing
shoes.
my appearance, he stopped his attacks and sternly asked if I had any connection with the name
Niwa.
I answered that it was my father's surname, and after my father disappeared,
What is
I
even
was
happening?
adopted by
He
the
showed up out of
Kaedehara
nowhere.
Upon hearing my answer, the stranger paused. After a long silence, he suddenly said, "Tell her
What?
this. My name is
What?
Kuni Kuzushi." He then turned and left.
Oh my God. What is happening? What? I'm
Wow. So
Paimon breaking the silence, thank you.
Yes. My great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan escaped from death and learned that the forging
by
diagram
Scaramouche?
had been
Is
tampered with by
Kunikuzushi?
Kunikuzushi. However, due to the encounter, the head of the Kamisato clan was worried that my great-grandfather would be falsely accused of being involved with the perpetrator. So even on his deathbed, the master of the Kamisato clan cautioned my great-grandfather to never speak of what happened. Because the perpetrator said he would destroy the Raiden Gokaden. My great-grandfather worried that the perpetrator would still return for
Yeah, I
vengeance.
would too.
So
that's why he
to
just
protect
closed
his
it. He was like,
loved
okay, I
ones,
don't want anyone coming back to fight
he
us.
closed the family business. He said, as the leader of the Kaedahara clan, I am deeply ashamed to witness the decline of the Ishin art. But as a father, it is my priority to ensure the safety
So
of
he
my
just didn't
children
want
and grandchildren. Yes.
Scaramouche to come back. Wait,
If
is
my
that like a
grandpa
different
had
version of like a different? I don't know.
somehow discovered the secret behind the tampered diagram all those years ago, perhaps my great-grandfather would have told him the truth. Unfortunately, he failed to catch any of the hints in my great-grandfather's words. Miss
He tried to
Kamisato,
tell him that it wasn't him.
it appears you were unaware of the happenings that my great-grandfather described here. What are your thoughts?
I suppose the reason the head of the Kamisato house never spoke of this to the family was due to similar safety concerns. If the perpetrator was capable of tampering with even the Shogun's diagrams, and could single-handedly defeat many men, then he is not an ordinary enemy.
No.
I will discuss this matter with Brother shortly.
Oh my god,
and
I feel sick.
investigate the identity behind the one called Kunikuzushi.
I think I know.
We will
Well, we can't see him, of course. We would know.
To be honest, as I read the letter, I felt much turbulence in my heart. But now I've managed to calm myself. My great-grandfather said in the letter that he did not wish his descendants to blindly seek revenge and be deceived by things of the past. Though he was in a tight situation when he wrote these words, I feel like they are still valid nonetheless.
Jesus.
I think what's most important for each person is not the past.
And there you go. That's why he's feeling this way.
Even though we must carry the burdens from the past, there are also things
This is what
we
I was
wish
saying.
to
This is why he
strive
forgives, not forgive, but like was like, hey, Sarah, let's move on.
Therefore, knowing the truth behind what happened,
It's like respect for the past, but moving
I
on
will live
for the
on
future.
just as my
That's what
great-grandfather
Inazuma needs to do as well.
That being said,
Holy hell.
if the enemy from all those years ago is still lurking and plotting to stir up more trouble,
Don't worry, I don't think he'll ever come back.
turn a blind eye.
I don't think he'll ever return.
These are simply insights I've gathered from all that I've experienced. Thank you all for accompanying me.
No,
in my
thank you.
search
This
for
was
the truth
incredible.
behind that incident.
Great! Now that we're done here, let's head back to Rito.
Like, full swing. Okay, so it's full swing now.
Today is the final stage of the Irodori Festival. Not only will there be Xingqiu's signing event, but
Yeah. But I'm more afraid of like what like there's the significance here of.
let's take a stroll through the festival venue. Maybe
Look at this guy's team, by the way. Ganyu, Zhongli, Diluc. Jesus. Or this person's team,
Hello,
sorry.
traveler. Paimon?
Albedo, why is the portrait of Kuranushi all covered up? Paimon wants to see what your Kuranushi
Is it gonna look like Scaramouche?
Don't worry. The unveiling ceremony will be starting
I'm so
shortly.
excited.
You'll see what it looks like then. I will say that I'm most satisfied with this particular work. I even made a special trip to see someone in order to complete it. They gave me some very
Suspicious and
valuable
mysterious.
suggestions.
Perfect.
Is that so? Anyway, there is still time before the ceremony. You may have a look around the venue first.
Well,
Yeah, we
hello,
go with
everyone.
Venti.
Hey, what are you two doing together? Don't
Nah,
think we
this is
can
good. This is a good
see you
meetup.
chatting up a storm
I don't
just
think. I think Venti will be immune to him.
Is that so? I'm afraid you're just overthinking things.
We were merely discussing wine and food. I'm sure you two wouldn't be interested.
Speaking of good sides with sake, I personally prefer fried tofu.
Ugh, forget it. Even if those two are plotting something,
Yeah.
they'd still never
I love them two together because it makes perfect sense because he would be impervious to Yamiko's like Riz. So they've been drinking and having a conversation there together, which is really nice.
You should have a look around the venue
Yes, yeah, so
first.
just checking if there's anything
Today
else to
will
say.
likely be the
The
busiest
person who
day
had the
of
foresight to
Irodori
record this,
Festival.
by the way, thank you so much. Yeah, we'll only know when it's on when they even be in the ceremony itself.
Kazuha, what are you doing here?
I don't think he's going to be enjoying it as much as other people are.
I came here to take in the sea breeze. Such a
Yeah.
bustling atmosphere is never really to my liking.
Yeah, you've gone through a lot.
I knew you were still worried about me. Thank you. But please, don't worry. The things I said in front of everyone weren't just
I'm glad.
pretty-sounding excuses.
You have the right to, like I said, he has the right to be angry,
this
but I
familiar
love his
marble in front of
ideas. I
us?
love his the thing he came up with.
Before, you could sit here all day without seeing a single ship pass through. Instead, all you would see were soldiers from the Kanjo Commission.
Wow, yeah, it
guarding
is very
against
it's much more
possible
peaceful.
Intruders. But now, it's become a bustling place. Not only are foreigners coming to Inazuma again, but traffic between here and Watatsumi Island has also been picking up.
Yeah, Inazuma's already started to change, huh?
I was thinking, in some ways, each and every one of us are similar to this country. It might take a different amount of time for different people, but there will inevitably come a day when each person can let go of their burden.
I mean, just at the top of my head, Venti with Dvalin is a perfect example of this. Of course, Albedo with the people that created him and like, you know, what he felt were his limitations and things like this, and Kazuha, of course, as well.
And when they finally let go, they are free to follow the wind as they please.
Exactly what I want to hear from you. Exactly.
Don't worry about me. You should go enjoy the festival.
I love you. I love you so much.
Ah,
Oh,
greetings,
them together.
traveler. Paimon.
Oh, Ayato! We finally get to see the busiest person of all.
Yes, there were many things which
Look at them
required
together.
my attention
Oh.
these past few days. Fortunately, the Irodori festival is proceeding smoothly. The Tri-Commission cooperated closely to prepare this festival, so at long last, I can take a break today.
Brother and I are very grateful for your help.
Toma sure is taking his
Oh, you waiting for Toma?
Yes. Today is one of the rare occasions when Brother isn't busy. I was going to buy some books, but he said he wanted to come along. His treat. However, he forgot his wallet at home, so he asked Toma to go back and fetch it for him.
Paimon didn't think Ayato could ever be forgetful like that.
Brother always works diligently, and it's rare for him to ever put his duties to the side and relax. So, Toma and I really cherish such moments when he's forgetful.
That's sweet. That is sweet.
Traveler, Paimon.
I want to read exactly like so it said. The two people talk about various things regarding the Irodori festival while they wait for Toma. You can hear snatches of their conversations, brother. Even if Toma is here, you cannot simply forget to bring your purse. Oh my god, look, he's doing a little book
Paimon,
signing.
It's a pleasure to see you.
Sitting in
Indeed
his
it
little
did.
chair.
Thanks to you, the signing event went off without a hitch. And I must say, the readers seem most satisfied.
Shito, is it just Paimon, or are you on the lookout for something?
You aren't mistaken, though I'm ashamed to admit it. But in fact, I have been on the watch for tourists from Liyue. After all, I came to Inazuma under the pretext of evaluating a potential investment. If an acquaintance were to see me sitting here, then there would be no way to hide the truth from my father. Fortunately,
Best smile
the
in the
crowds
game.
of readers that came flocking over have kept the usual tourists at bay. Oh, I should mention, Shu is also unaware of the real purpose of my trip. If you happen to meet
Dude,
him,
we don't narc for
please,
nothing.
remember to keep it a secret. Then, please accept my thanks in advance. I'm sorry that I can't chat long. There are still readers waiting in line. I'll see you later at the unveiling ceremony for Kuronushi's portrait.
We won't narc on you whatsoever. Never. Here we go. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited for this.
Everyone, welcome to the magnificent Irodori Festival. Today, we have ushered in the final stage of our festival.
I'm so excited.
And now we will reveal the final portrait of the Five Kasen, Kuronushi, which was done by none other than our guest artist from Mondstadt, Calx.
You can clap this time. You can clap this time. Clapping is okay this time.
Let's all count down together.
I won't ever stop someone clapping for Albedo.
1.
Let's see. Oh.
What's this? This piece depicts
And you will like it.
I suppose Calx must have forgotten to include.
No, don't even talk about Calx like that.
Let's hear some words from Calx himself regarding the.
You need to watch your tone.
Process behind this piece.
Hello, everyone.
I thought it was.
I would like to say that it was an honor to be invited to create the portraits of the Five Kasen. The Five Kasen are legendary figures from ancient Inazuma, famous for their works of poetry. As time passed, poems were composed about them, and they became the subjects of many stories. I learned from existing sources about those stories that the character of Kuronushi is the deepest and most differing of the Five Kasen. Moreover, Kuronushi lacks a dedicated chapter among the stories. It's as if he is a behind-the-scenes role of the Five Kasen. Perhaps we can assume that every creator had a different understanding of Kuronushi. So, in the same way, I also wanted to leave this character to everyone's own imagination. After all, the Irodori Festival is a place for everyone to express their minds through creative works.
You can clap this time. I'll let the clapping happen for once, no matter how painful it is. I think it's really important. I think it's really nice what he said here, though.
Works. The Irodori Festival to everyone's own imagination.
Yes. Sorry, again?
I also Kuronushi. So, in the same
yeah, sorry, where was it? Is it this part? Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it is this part, yeah. We can assume that the creator had a different understanding of Kuronushi the same way. He also wants to leave the character. So it's up to your own imagination. He's almost like the boogeyman, right? And then it's a place for everyone to express their works. The clapping hurts, but honestly, we're letting it happen for Albedo. If you clap for Paimon, I'd let it happen.
It seems that our adventures at the Irodori Festival have come to a close.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Huh? What are you
Klee?
talking about?
Oh.
Right. We still have
Where's
figured out
Klee?
who left those stories of the Five Kasen for us to
I think it's
find.
beautiful what Kazuha said, by the way.
Come on then. Who is it? Tell Paimon. Well, that makes sense. Otherwise, there'd be no way to give the right paper to the right person.
They're connected with the Kariara clan?
Right. Even though they were using stories to hint us toward Xingqiu's troubles, the real goal was to lead us to solve the secrets of the Kazuha clan. Paimon gets it now. Well, at least Paimon thinks she knows. Let's go. We'll get to
So this is the ending to the story, is them like finding out who did this. It's really cool. Albedo's portrait of Kuronushi, there's no signs of any personage here, only a backdrop that adorns his image. Albedo said that he wanted to leave this to everyone's imagination. Perhaps you two already have some clear idea of what this person might have looked like. I think you do. I think we do.
Yes, in fact, before doing the portrait of Kuronushi, I visited the person who left those stories and confirmed a few things. I think my current approach to this portrait is the most correct one. After all, there are some
And it keeps people talking for years, man. Don't want to break the mystery of what this person looks like, you know? Can I say, like, once you see an image of something, that is the image in your head for years. I remember I didn't get in trouble for it in school, but I remember I drew Whoopi Goldberg as God, because that's the first time I ever saw God depicted. And I remember when they were like literally, I think on our teachers was like, draw a picture of God giving something to somebody, and I drew Whoopi Goldberg. So it was just this black woman with Whoopi Goldberg's usual hairstyle. And I remember honestly, like, one of the funniest things to ever was him being like, I don't think this is God. But then I was like, the Muppets movie literally had this character as God. It's the first time I ever saw a God depicted. And I like, you know, to me, that's still God in my mind. When I think of God, I think of Whoopi Goldberg.
The person who left behind the stories of the Five Kasen.
So what I'm trying to say is that
chose to do
you could, if you depicted what this character looks like, forever that would be the thing that people see in their mind because it's the first real depiction of it.
so for Kaedehara's sake. After all, if they wanted to simply tell me what happened, there'd be far easier ways of doing it.
Yamiko.
The one who left the stories of the Five Kasen.
She wouldn't do it herself for sure. That wouldn't be fun for her. She'd want people to know she did it.
Really?
No, she likes being sneaky and tricky and right under people's noses. She loves it.
Tricky one.
But seeing as you stumbled upon me, you aren't far from finding that person now. Because other than me, there's only one person left.
In my mind, I'm saying Sarah, but...
Oh, are you asking about the
I'm
one
gonna miss
who
you so
left
much,
the
Venti. I want you in
stories
more
of the
events.
Five Kasen? I do happen to know their
Everyone knows about
identity,
us.
But things may be a little more complicated than you think.
Oh my god. Well, who's left to talk to? Oh, well, there's lots of characters here to talk to. Well, Kazuha, of course.
To be honest, I am very grateful to the one who left those stories for us to find. This journey allowed me to uncover the truth behind my family. And I am also very fortunate to have you to accompany me and find the answers.
Here we go.
Ayato!
Who's Ayato?
The stories of the Five Kasen. But don't you think you overdid it a
Okay,
little?
I just didn't pick up on... Let me try and think here for a second. I mean, I guess, like, he would have the most resources to do it. I don't know why, like, I just didn't pick up on that.
Like that?
As it just so happens, one of the reasons I'm here today is to explain the details behind this wild hunt.
Paimon wants to see how you'll explain yourself out of this one.
First of all, the start of this whole incident was due to mere happenstance. You see, Lady
She
Yan
already
happened
knew.
to catch sight of Xingqiu and the editor carrying the books away one night.
Of course.
She thought
Of
it was
course.
interesting.
Of course.
So she asked me
Tease
to
them
tease
a bit.
So it was Miko after all. Paimon knew
Oh, I'm showing this picture of Yamiko.
written all over it.
That's right. But using the story of the Five Kasen to guide you to the Kaedehara family's secrets was my personal touch. As for my roundabout approach, well, that was something which I had no choice.
You had no
but to do.
choice?
Yes. Due to a certain incident that occurred earlier, I happened to notice the bonsai plants left behind by Kaedehara Yoshinori, as well as the blank papers hidden inside. I knew there was more than meets the eye regarding those papers, but it took me some time to figure out the secret behind the ink, the kind that would only appear when exposed to water. What Kaedehara Yoshinori said in the letter is very important for both the Kamisato clan and the descendants of the Kaedehara clan, especially Kazuha. The Kaedehara clan used to be subordinates of the Kamisato clan. It was my ancestors who were unable to protect them all those years ago. So now, this obligation fell on my shoulders. Although he has the right to know the truth, the closer he draws to things hidden out of sight, the closer he also draws to danger. I had to confirm whether Kazuha
Again, there's so
has
much
both
text
the
going
will
on.
and
I know, like, it's like, I am...
on my shoulders.
Sorry if I'm just, I want to read this twice sometimes, because I have the advantage of being able to do that.
The Kaedehara clan
Yeah.
used to be subordinates of the Kamisato clan. It was my ancestors.
So he
who were
wanted to
unable
revive. Okay,
protect them
okay,
all
yeah.
those
Sorry,
years
like,
ago.
it's just like, I have the advantage of being able to
So
read this stuff
now,
twice, so I want to
this
make sure I'm taking
obligation fell
advantage of
on
that.
my shoulders. Although he has the right to know the truth, the closer he draws to things hidden out of sight, the closer he also draws to danger.
SCARAMOUCHE.
I had to confirm whether Kazuha has both the will and ability to be privy to the truth. Of course, I could outright tell him the truth that I had discovered, but maybe he doesn't have the will that's required. In that case, the truth would only become a burden to him. If he lacks the ability, then he wouldn't be able to find the truth in the first place. In which case, it would be better to keep him away from danger
Right.
altogether. Kaedehara Yoshinori left his message in a roundabout way precisely
So he'd be
for
ready
this
to
reason.
fight whatever danger it is.
For a long time, I yearned for a suitable opportunity to convey this matter, right up until the night when a legend of sword was smuggled away.
Oh, Paimon gets it now. Yeah, it wasn't only Kazuha. You brought all of the rest of us into this plan of yours.
I figured you would ask this question eventually. I merely saw that this matter would be of value to you. And more importantly, I hoped that while Kazuha and Ayaka were looking for the answers together, they would have some reliable friends by their side.
Look at the Raiden Shogun plushie.
Willing to protect them and make measured decisions. Friends who would spare no effort to lend a helping hand in times of trouble. Because it is also very likely that you will face the same enemy.
Yes, oh my god.
You already know the answer deep down inside, don't you? The answer is actually hidden in the portrait of Kuranushi. When there is no one else near the portrait, you can confirm with your own eyes.
This is so sick. Look how they're building up the fight with Scaramouche so well.
You have used it many times before.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it.
It's getting pretty late, so nobody else is around
Heck yeah.
now. So Ayato must have been telling us to splash water on the portrait.
What?
Right?
What? I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills. Wait. Wait. Oh my god!
So he was the one
Oh my goodness, the Valadier. The one who,
When there is no one else near the portrait, you can confirm with your own eyes. As for the means of revealing that answer, well...
Holy hell, the way they built this up! The way they built this up!
Also, there's one last
thing
that we must discuss. I mentioned earlier that the occurrence of a certain incident made me notice the bonsai plants.
I can't believe this is so good.
That incident now.
Holy hell.
It was just after the Shogun announced the abolition of the Sakoku decree. I heard that something had happened at the Tenryou Commission.
I have so many chills.
Signs that someone had entered the warehouse storing the commission's articles of evidence and confiscated items. But nothing was stolen. I felt something unusual about that incident. So I told Kujo-Sara of the Tenryou Commission to treat it as if nothing happened. She was not to increase the guard or relocate the warehouse contents. In the meantime, I sent a member of the Shumatsuban to keep watch over the warehouse. And sure enough, someone was sneaking in and rummaging through the belongings of the Kaedahara clan.
You mean he was also looking for...
I let him search for a while, but in the end, he found nothing. Soon after, he had to leave Inazuma
joking me?
Of the Kaedahara clan.
Sorry, I keep
sneaking in and rummaging through the belongings.
He was there?
Of the Kaedahara clan.
You mean he was also looking for...
I let him search for a while, but in the end, he found nothing. Soon after, he had to leave Inazuma by boat.
Why didn't you send someone to catch him?
This is incredible.
The best way to protect a secret is to treat it as if it doesn't exist, is it not? Besides, the identity of this person is not hard to guess. After he left Inazuma, I carefully checked the Kaedahara clan's belongings one by one, and eventually discovered the papers in the hidden compartment of the flower pot. I am certain that the papers are the secret which the infiltrator sought to find.
Oh my freaking god.
The secret existed at all. So, now on to my final question. Which part of Kaedahara Yoshinori's experiences was the secret that needed to be
Knew the family was framed. Knew that the culprit was named Kuzinji. The county uniform was spared by his opponent. I ought to leave it to us.
Question at present, so
I'm like tensing up, man. This is so cool.
As for now,
how can I?
Enjoy your
like when I say I have chills, my back, my arms, everything. Is that it? That's it. That is it for this festival. That was incredible. And then we have this image as well. I think it's a perfect place to pause it, first of all. Does it have a name on it? No, it doesn't. So, to talk about this before we go or anything like this, I want to just first of all, this is incredible how they're building up Scaramouche. They've done such a good job of this and making him terrifying, making him fearful, making sure that he is not something to be trifled with, making sure that you have to be ready to fight him. Beautiful illustrations, by the way, all the way around here. But I love this whole story, this whole festival, not only just making me happy to see all these characters in one place again, but then, like, as usual in Genshin, happy, here's all this really lovely, fun stuff happening. Oh, wait, there's something deep underneath. Something is happening underneath. Someone's stealing stuff. Someone's plagiarizing stuff. Oh, it relates to the past, just like it always has in Inazuma. There's themes here when we saw the Clash of Lone Blades here, of you know, how we shouldn't just look so much into the past all the time and worry about what we're going to do for the future. And we saw that with Kazuha forgiving Sara as well. Not forgiving, but kind of being like, you worry about that in the future. Don't worry about this. We have to move on. And Kazuha saw that out in the distance. There's no guards here anymore. Look how beautiful this place is. If I brought up trouble again now, like, that would just defeat the whole purpose of this. He's willing to sacrifice his own emotions for Inazuma, just like a lot of characters were here. And, like, you can even see, like, how, like, the tone changed as the time went on in this story. And I love that about Genshin, because there's so many, like, happy stuff that happens. There's an undertone of sadness and kind of fearfulness. And then they drop the bomb at the end, and that's what they did with his boy here, Scaramouche. And we're gonna have to figure out how this all plays together now when we eventually meet Scaramouche eventually. And they're building up. You will meet this guy again, they're saying. You will meet this guy again. You will meet this guy and fight this guy. You have to be ready. They even showed in the notes he didn't want anyone fighting him because he's so powerful, and he is so powerful. You saw what he did to us. He also has a gnosis of his own now as well. He took the gnosis of the Raiden Shogun, of Yae Miko, in exchange for saving us. An absolutely incredible event this was. This whole thing was incredible. I had such a blast with this. I had such a blast. And yeah, getting to see Venti again, Xingqiu, Albedo, all these characters. I wish we got Klee again, but I think she was just a reason to get Klee here was to get Albedo here as well, if that makes any sense. But yeah, this was a really, really beautiful event. I'm so glad I watched it. The next event we're going to be watching will be in a few weeks, and it's the Golden Arpeggio, I think it's called. I don't know what order we're going to be doing that in. But we have some stuff come over the weekend again. We're getting closer and closer to Sumeru. We are getting closer and closer, and that means we only have 2 more worlds to catch up in full, and then there's another world that's being released as well, and that'll be the last place, and I think that's going to be sometime around the end of the year, maybe even, because we started Inazuma in June, and I think Sumeru will be longer as well, but I'm so excited to meet Scaramouche again. I think they're doing such a good job of building his character up. I think they're doing such a fantastic job. Thank you so much for watching this, guys, and thank you to Tyfire 2, Jamie Bull, John and the Banana, The Ghost of Inazuma, Felicious Felix, George Candelaria, Eskun, Ewald, Radish, Fruity, Anusa, Ciabatta Red, Malcolm Conde, Bean Mika, Death Trap, and Lynx Markey. And I'll see you guys very soon. Bye bye.